Welcome into coverage of Hayes Larks baseball on the Larks Network, as tonight the Larks will put their undefeated 11-0 record to the test against the Dodge City A's. As we welcome you into the pregame show, my name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And looking back at the Larks' last game, they got their second win over the Newton Rebels by a final score of 12-4, winning in 9 innings after a little bit of a slow start because the Rebels jumped out to a 4-0 lead. But by the time the third inning hit, the Larks took the lead and never gave it back. That's a thing that I feel like I've been saying a lot this season, but by the third inning, the Larks were ahead 5-4. They scored 6 runs in the fourth inning and then controlled the game from that point on with a lot of big performances, most notably from Ty Schmeidler with his first game in the starting lineup. He had a grand slam in the fourth inning, and overall in the night had a total of 6 RBIs, and his high school teammate Carson Lyles, despite a tough first inning, got things pulled together and put together a quality start. Trent Baker had a good outing as well, and Ty Parker, a temporary member of the Larks, pitched 3 innings and only gave up 1 hit. So it was the second game of the season series, and the Larks were able to sweep that, and they got a big win out of it.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right in the fact that you keep saying, oh, yeah, you know, they had a slow start, and then all of a sudden everything just started going their way. And I think that this is the kind of team that this is. And some teams, you'll see the patterns throughout the season. You know, sometimes you'll see teams that they don't string together hits until the middle to late parts of the game, and that's just how sometimes – you know, how certain teams might perform. And I think this Larks team has really shown some serious grit, some serious talent coming down the stretch. And it's really exciting every single game because they keep it interesting in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you see this offense just explode. And it's so entertaining to watch.
And as the Larks come in at 11-0, they are really going to be put to the test tonight. This is a Dodge City A's team that comes in with a record of 8-5-1. Despite starting 1-3, they were able to get things together after that, winning 7 straight and going to 8-3 in second place in the RMBL. But these last 3 games, they've looked to get back in the win column, and they definitely have the capability to do it against this Larks team. They're a very experienced team with 5 seniors and 10 players that are either currently playing Division I or are commits.
Yeah, and I think when you know you're playing the Dodge City A's, you know it's always going to be a dogfight no matter what. This Dodge City A's team is always good. They always are. Year after year, they were good last year. They're good again this year, and it's not a surprise to anyone because they're one of the top contenders in the RMBL. And so I think that this will certainly be a test for this Larks team, and I'm really excited to see what both of these squads bring out today.
This is also a battle of 2 teams that went to the NBC World Series last year, and tonight and tomorrow is the first 2 games of this 6-game season series. These 2 teams played each other a total of 5 times last year. The Larks won the first 2 matchups 9-2 and 13-3. Dodge got their only win on June 8th by a final score of 3-10. And then the Larks won big after that. They were able to sneak by 3 days after that, lost 5-4. And then at the end of June, they won big with a run rule victory by a final score of 20-2. And then they had that game at the end of July that only played 1 inning and then was called off because of the rainstorm and because the Larks had already clinched the RMBL and Dodge City was already going to the NBC World Series. So there really wasn't any need to play that final game.
Right, and making the NBC World Series, no matter who you are, no matter what team you are, no matter what the outcome of your season was, that's a big deal, no matter what. I mean, you can't discredit that on any account. And so while, yes, some of the games last season were uncompetitive in the sense that the Larks may have blown them out, it doesn't change the fact that they still made it to the NBC World Series, and they competed for that RMBL title quite a bit last season. So, you know, I'm really excited to see how these 2 very premier teams in the RMBL are going to go toe-to-toe here tonight.
It should be a very fun non-league matchup tonight, and it's coming up next in about 9 minutes here on the Larks Network. We are set to go for another edition of the Larks and A's rivalry, as tonight's game is a non-league game. Ty Schmeidler gets the start on the mound, and Landon Langley leads things off for the A's. This is Ty Schmeidler's third career start in 4 appearances. He's pitched in 10 innings for the Larks, and he faces the sophomore out of Iowa, Louisiana. And the first pitch is fouled off the pole, and that will be strike one. First pitch tonight comes at 7:06 p.m. It's currently 76 degrees outside and cloudy, and there's a chance of heavy rain in about 30 minutes. Could be a chance for a rain delay from what I've been told, but we'll continue to monitor that as the game goes on. On the 0-1 count, Ty Schmeidler goes inside to Langley, and there's the first ball. Eli Blankenship is currently over at the Larks dugout. He's retrieving our celebration cam. That is what we're going to use here in the booth if it does go to a rain delay. So this one will be popped up on the infield, and making the catch is Hutch Russell over at second base for the first out of the inning. That now brings up number 4, Cameron Parks, and here's the rest of the Dodge City order. It's number 11, Yael Amador, batting third. Batting fourth is number 17, Jackson Phillips, who's the DH tonight. Number 5, Max Irwin, bats fifth. Batting sixth is number 12, Jaden Moreno. Number 21, Isaiah Velasco, bats seventh. And rounding out the rest of the order is Trace Copper and Arturo Blancance. Schmeidler starts the count 1-0 to Cameron Parks. And we'll get a look at the Larks' defensive alignment in just a second. And as this one's fouled out of play for the first strike to the freshman from LSU, Alexandria. And Schmeidler's next pitch is a curveball that's too far outside, and it ties the count up 2-1. For tonight's non-league game, the Larks will put Cooper Holtorf in left field, Sean Keenan in center field, and Braden Cox over in right field. The catcher tonight is number 32, Brand Wilson, as this one's a line drive from Cameron Parks, and it goes into right field, bounces in a couple times in front of Braden Cox, and the A's have their first hit of tonight's game. Next up is number 11, Yael Amador, and here's the look at the Larks infield. Over at third base is number 3, Rainer Bean, playing that position for the first time this season. Number 34, Tanner Norman, returns to first base. And on the middle part of the infield, Tabor Stokes will play at shortstop. And also making his first appearance at second base is number 15, Hutch Russell. Amador awaits the pitch from the left-handed Ty Schmeidler. He'll be going into his senior year at TMP, and here's a line drive to the opposite side this time, and it's another single that advances both runners one base. So the A's are wasting no time getting contact with the ball, as Parks now stands at second and Amador's at first, and the DH, Jackson Phillips, is now up. Phillips is a sophomore from Parker, Colorado. Brand Wilson will center his glove as Schmeidler looks back at second base, and the pitch is on the way, and the changeup will be a swing and a miss for strike one. Jackson Phillips comes into tonight's game on a 4-game hit streak. And here he's trying to bring his RBI numbers up as he works with the runner at second base and only one out. Next pitch on the way for Schmeidler is going to go to the outside, and it's too low for ball one. Schmeidler comes into tonight's game with a 1-0 record, 9 strikeouts in his 3 appearances. Takes a look back at second once again and then delivers the pitch. And that one's outside to Brand Wilson as well, so it ties the count up 2-1. Both runners will take short leads. The A's are 43 for 48 on stolen bases this season. Coming into tonight's game, trying to break a 3-game winless streak. And on the pitch, the runner will go to third base. Brand Wilson will not attempt to throw, and it's a successful steal for Cameron Parks. The runner stays put at first base. That's Yael Amador. And the count now stands at 2-2 to the sophomore out of Seward County Community College. Wilson wants this one right down the middle from Schmeidler, and here's the pitch. And this one goes outside, and it leads to a full count. Tanner Norman will cover first base. Amador takes the short lead. Schmeidler's watching him. And the pitch is on the way, and the runner takes off for second base, and it's a swing and a miss, and there is the first strikeout of the game, and number 10 on the year for the Kentucky commit, Ty Schmeidler.
That was a big-time strikeout there for Ty Schmeidler. Came up on a big opportunity there for the A's. He really kind of shut things down for them because now he's not so worried about that sacrifice fly. He doesn't have to worry that he's got, still 2 more outs to secure. Now he's got 2 runners in scoring position. The only thing that will score the A's runs here is a base hit.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch to number 5, Max Irwin, the third baseman out of Coffeyville Community College. Finished with a .349 batting average in 53 games this year with the Red Ravens. Two runners in scoring position early for the A's, and another foul ball here. We'll shake our camera, but it stays in place. And Eli's very happy about that. The count is 0-2.
Let me tell you guys, I was going to work down there really trying to get that thing to stay stable, so I just hope it doesn't move. That's all I ask.
Schmeidler delivers the 0-2 and targets the outside, and that one's a little too low and too far for ball one. This is Max Irwin's 3rd game with the A's. And this is also his 10th plate appearance. He's recorded 2 hits, an RBI, and a run. And Schmeidler kicks and deals, and fly ball is going to go out of play behind the press box. And Max Irwin stays alive with a 1-2 count. Wilson this time will put his glove on the outside. Schmeidler delivers. And this one's a ground ball fielded by Tabor Stokes. A long throw from the shortstop position. This takes a few bounces, rolls away from Tanner Norman. And that will score an additional run along with Cameron Parks and also advance Irwin to second.
Well, it will still go down as an E6 against Tabor Stokes. But, man, what an attempt on that play by Tabor Stokes. Only thing that was off about that was really just his transfer from that glove hand to the ball hand, and wasn't able to get it into that ball hand quick enough to be able to really have a quality throw over there to first. And it just rushed his throw, and that's really what threw that whole thing off. But what a great job to even make the stop there was really impressive there.
Schmeidler goes inside on the first pitch to number 12, Jaden Moreno, the senior from Prairie View A&M. This is his first appearance since June 15th when the A's took on the Kansas Cannons. And the next pitch misses the zone for ball 2. After Moreno, it's Isaiah Velasco on deck and Trace Copper in the hole. Schmeidler's watching the runner at second base. Irwin's taking a very big lead. Half-hearted swing there for Moreno, and they'll say that he went around. The count is 2-1. Schmeidler's next pitch is a line drive into the right center gap, and this one's going to roll all the way to the wall and take a bounce into the glove of Sean Keenan. One run is in, and Moreno will stay put at second base. Took a little bit of a lead off that bag looking over at third, but will stay put, and he gets an RBI double.
This is where Schmeidler has to just keep calm, cool, and collected, stay the course here. He has to be confident in his stuff, and obviously with as young as he is and as much raw talent as he has, this is where you can really start to develop a player like Ty Schmeidler, because sometimes you just have to have that trust. Leave that trust in the guy that's on the hill, and you know that he has good stuff. You know he's a quality ball player, and so just kind of letting him work through that adversity sometimes plays to the player's benefit a lot more than people can realize.
1-0 count to the next batter, Isaiah Velasco, number 21, who's playing catcher tonight. He's a recent graduate of Central Michigan, originally from Sylmar, California. And he will foul off the next pitch, and the count moves to 1-1. The A's have jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but the Larks have been in this situation before. Their last game against the Newton Rebels, they trailed 4-0 after the top of the first inning, and by the third inning, they were ahead 5-4. Another pitch misses the zone, and the count is 2-1 to Isaiah Velasco. Schmeidler already has one strikeout this inning. That one came on a full count against Jackson Phillips. He's still watching that runner at second base, delivers a curveball that's too high for ball number 3. Velasco will fix his gloves. And he's awaiting the pitch. Here it comes from Schmeidler, and that one's too low for ball 4. And Keith Harper is now going to make his way out to the mound for a quick meeting with Schmeidler. Larks don't have anybody warming up in their bullpen, so this is just going to be a quick meeting to make sure that he's feeling comfortable. He's had one appearance as a relief pitcher, and this is his third start of the year tonight.
And this is one of those situations where you've got a guy like Keith Harper, very quality pitching coach and a veteran really that can really help coach these young guys to become the player that they can be, that he knows they can be, and really meet that full potential. And so this is one of those where you just got to go out there, give the guy some words of encouragement, tell him to be confident in his stuff, and help him understand the situation he's in. And you know, everyone that has been following the Larks this season knows that Ty Schmeidler is one of the more premier prospects on this team. And Again, this is just one of those situations where you just got to talk the guy through it because he's a young kid still. You got to think this guy's still got a whole year of high school left. That is just insane to me that he has the quality stuff that he has as a going into his senior year of high school. Really just speaks levels to his talent ability.
As everybody returns to their respective spots, we'll take a look at the radar right now. We're expected to get rain in about 15 minutes. There's a chance that it might be heavy. It'll be coming in from Hayes out of the northwest, and it's currently north of Waukene.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we get some precipitation. Don't be surprised if we get some precipitation, folks. It's yesterday was quite rainy for those of you in the western Kansas area. I'm sure most of you experienced your fair share of storm stories and situations. Hank was telling me about the fun opportunity that he had this morning to help repair his fence in his front yard. So.
Anyway, back to our action, and the count is 1-1 to Trace Copper, the Cimarron, Kansas native that just wrapped up his freshman year at Tabor College. Schmeidler just needs one more out to end the inning as the A's have jumped out to this 3-0 lead. He's watching the runner at second base. Hutch Russell staying nearby to cover it. And Copper held back just enough on the third pitch, and the count moves to 2-1. Wilson puts his glove on the outside part of the plate, and the pitch is on the way, and it's a swing and a miss for strike number 2. Wilson does a very good job reading the batters and helping out his pitchers. This is his second game in a row in the position. Usually the Larks will split time between their catchers, most notably Dylan Hazelhorst and a couple others. But here's the 2-2 from Ty Schmeidler, and the curveball drops into the zone for strike number 3 to retire the side. But the A's jump out to an early lead, sending 8 batters up to the plate and scoring a total of 3 runs on 3 hits. We'll see how the Larks respond when we come back. In the top of the first inning, the Dodge City A's get a total of 3 runs on 3 hits. The Larks committed 1 error and 2 runners were left stranded for the A's. As we get set for the bottom of the first inning, Nolan Huff makes the start for the A's. And we just got a moment here the PA announcer for tonight's game just gave a moment to Hayes Lark Julio Ramos, who is this is his last night with the team as he's going to be heading home to Nogales, Arizona to rehab a shoulder injury. And got a big round of applause from the hometown fans. And he's definitely going to be a player that the Larks are going to miss. An NBC All-American from last year. He was kind of that go-to guy that you could rely on in those late-game situations and then move to a starter this year. It is a huge piece that they're going to miss.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really sad to see him go this way because I was just telling you in the break, you can tell how much he loves this team, how much he loves this city, and it's really sad to have to see him go out the way that he did.
And on to our action. On an 0-1 count, Cooper Holtorf leads things off and gets a single against Nolan Huff. And here is the rest of the Larks order tonight. As Rainer Bean steps up to the plate, he'll be followed by number 15, Hutch Russell. And then 3 new faces return to the lineup tonight. Dylan LaRue's in the DH spot. Number 7, Sean Keenan bats 5th. And batting 6th is number 32, Brian Wilson. Number 34, Tanner Norman bats 7th. Batting 8th is number 6, Tabor Stokes. And in the 9-hole spot is number 9, Braden Cox.
Another thing I'll add about Julio Ramos, it just seems like he's such a team player. He's there for the guys. I saw the moment he walked back into that dugout, he got a big hug from a bunch of the different guys in the dugout. So it's very evident that a lot of the guys in the clubhouse really like him and really care about him. And that's something that you love to see, especially with a team that really only gets together during the summer. It's just really neat to see those guys keep up with one another.
Next pitch from Nolan Huff is called ball 1. This one's to Rainer Bean, playing in a team-high 11th game, in his team-high 11th game tonight. Coming in with a .333 batting average, working with the runner at first base, Cooper Holtorf. Next pitch on the way from Huff goes inside and a throw back to first base, and Holtorf slides back safely. 2 balls and no strikes to tonight's third baseman. And here's a look at Dodge City's order, and in left field is their defensive alignment rather. In left field's number 4, Cameron Parks. The center fielder is number 11, Yael Amador. And in right field is number 1, Trace Copper. Behind home plate tonight is number 21, Isaiah Velasco. A pop-up going into foul territory for Rainer Bean. Running after it is Parks, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Or correction, that one actually landed. So Rainer Bean stays alive. The count is 2-1. Sorry for the mix-up there.
Well, it was a tough angle up here on that play, especially it goes behind that net, and sometimes you just kind of lose the ball, and just a weird all-around play there. There were a couple guys running after that ball, and you couldn't really tell who was who. And I'm not going to discredit you, Hank. We won't ding you for that one.
Happens to the best of us. We'll just say that. Another throwback to first base. Cooper Holtorf slides back safely. They've tried to get him a few times, but he's gotten back each time. Larks are coming off of a game where they went 5 for 5, stealing the base path. This Dodge City team has caught a total of 12 guys and have only given up 33 stolen bases. And Rainer Bean rips this one deep into right field, and this one's going to land out of play. Actually took the home plate umpire a second to decide if that one's fair or not. That one probably would have landed in the next county if he called that one a home run.
I mean, that was a ridiculous moonshot from Rainer Bean. If that thing would have stayed fair, I would have been awestruck. I mean, with a wooden bat, no less. That was a nuke.
2-2 the count. Nolan Huff takes a look back at first base and sends the ball to the plate. Holtorf takes off for second. The pitch was called a ball, and he is out. They got him on the steal. It's number 6, Blankense, that reached behind his back to make the tag, and there's one away.
That play was just very strange on a lot of different levels, but what I'll tell you is that really did come from Blankense at shortstop. That play would not have happened if it wasn't for him reaching behind, because the catcher behind home plate was a little bit slow on his pop time, wasn't able to make a great throw down to second base. And then, of course, Holtorf didn't have the best of slides over at second, didn't have the best of jumps, but I thought for sure he was going to come in there with plenty of time because of how late that throw was. But props to Blankense for being able to make that throw, or to be able to make that tag, because that was not an easy play to make. It really required some serious acrobatics. Hutch
Russell now makes his 4th appearance as a Lark. He was 2 for 4 in the game against Newton, with both those hits being singles. He also walked and stole a base en route to 2 runs scored. First pitch rolls away from the catcher as it takes a bounce. The count starts off 1-0. Continuing to monitor the rain that will be coming into the area. It doesn't look like it's arrived just yet. Still a little bit west of Hayes. And the next pitch catches the zone, and the count is 1-1 to Russell. He'll be followed by Dylan LaRue and Sean Keenan, 2 guys new to the lineup. First baseman Moreno's covering the bag. Throw back to first base is not in time. The catcher will center his glove for the next pitch, and it goes inside for ball number 2. And I think that when I was reading off the A's defensive alignment, I only read the outfield and the catcher, so I apologize for that. I'll read the rest of the infield right now. The third baseman tonight is Max Irwin. First baseman is Jaden Moreno. And on the middle part of the infield, they have number 3, Landon Langley over at second base, and number 6, Arturo Blancance at shortstop.
That's probably how you pronounce that. You and I both were kind of trying to figure that one out. You're probably absolutely right there. I saw blank, and I'm like, okay, Blankenship. But no, it's not quite Blankenship. I think it is a little bit more Hispanic in that sense, the Blancance. To get that one nailed in my head.
And Rainer Bean taking off for second base as the throw to first got away from Moreno, and now he's heading to third. This one rolled all the way to the outfield. And because of the air, Rainer Bean takes 2 bases instead of just 1.
You know, and honestly, I think that Cooper Holtorf was a little bit frustrated with himself for not being able to make it over to second base in time. But, I mean, Rainer Bean just made it up for him right there. In fact, I wish Rainer Bean would be like, hey, I got you, Cooper, I got you. Because, what a play there from him. Heads-up base running, and great job from the third base coach there to just go ahead and wave him on. He had a good angle on that play and made the right decision.
And Hutch Russell will toss his bat to the third base dugout as this one misses on the outside part of the plate for ball number 4. And the Larks have runners at both corners with an opportunity to score as Dylan LaRue steps up next. And a meeting will take place now, but for the A's, it's their pitching coach, Willem Allen, making his way out to the mound. He is the director of player development over at Florida A&M at the Division I level. So he'll just talk things over with his pitcher, Nolan Huff, a junior from McPherson College. And Dylan LaRue's just standing there waiting for the meeting to come to an end as he plays in his 5th game tonight with the Larks this season.
You know, something I'll say about Dylan LaRue, he's such a utilitarian player, and people don't usually view catchers as utilitarian players, but Dylan LaRue is the exception to that stereotype because this guy, not only is he a utility player that can play pretty much anywhere you need him to, but he can also switch hit. That is almost unheard of from catchers, seeing them be switch hitters.
Foul ball on the first pitch to LaRue, starts the count with 1 strike. LaRue's recorded 3 hits in 4 games. Has a chance to bring the runner from third home, and LaRue would be just the type of guy to do it. He's got 5 RBIs in his last 3 games. Swinging and missing on the next pitch. He's now down 0-2. Still just 1 out. The runner at third is Rainer Bean. Hutch Russell is at first. Both of those 2 walked. And this one will roll foul. And LaRue's staying alive. For Nolan Huff, this is his first start with the A's. He's pitched 3 games as a relief pitcher. And on the next pitch, this one will be a hard ground ball fielded by the second baseman Langley. Tags second, fades away from first, and makes the throw down there, and it is in time to retire the side. The Larks got Rainer Bean 90 feet away from home plate, but he does not score, and the A's have a 3-0 lead after one. We'll be back in a moment here on the Larks Network. Welcome back to Larks Park, and also a happy Father's Day to all the dads watching tonight's game. Before we start the inning, I'll go ahead and give a special shout-out to my two grandpas, Mike and Scott, and also my dad, Chris. Eli, do you have anybody you want to shout out before we start the inning?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to give a shout-out to my dad, Ken, and he might actually be tuned in right now. And then, of course, my grandpa, Lynn, and then my other grandpa as well, and Eddie. And Eddie might even be watching too. So happy Father's Day to everybody back home that's tuned in here this afternoon.
It looks like we got a pretty big number of families here in attendance for tonight's game. As we return to the action, the count is 1-0 to the final batter in the A's order, Arturo Blanquense. In that last inning, the Larks had one hit. The A's committed one error, and one was left on base. That was Rainer Bean over at third. Now Schmeidler stands with a 2-0 count to Blanquense, the freshman from Dodge City Community College, originally from Tijuana, Mexico. Swings and misses, and now faces a tied count at 2-1.
Well, and to your point about there being so many families here tonight, I think this is just such a great way for families to celebrate Father's Day. There's a lot of dads out there that really love baseball.
Deep hit into left field. Running back for it is Holtorf, and this one's going to go over the fence, and it's out of here. The A's extend their lead to 4-0 as Arturo Blanquense gets his third home run of the summer.
He absolutely labeled that ball. That thing was crushed out to left. And I think what's even more impressive about that is he really didn't have the wind in his favor either. A lot of times guys at Larks Park really enjoy being able to hit at Larks Park because a lot of times they have that wind to their back. And today that's not the case. And he was able to just crush that thing out to left field. Props to him on that one. That was a nuke.
So now the A's are back to the top of their order with number 3, Landon Langley. He will show bunt, and this one goes outside. Home plate umpire calls it ball one. Count now stands at 2-0 as Brand Wilson reaches his arm on the outside, reaches out his arm on the outside pitch. And Langley's now had 3-0, leaving another one outside after hitting a pop out over to Hutch Russell in the first inning on a 1-1 count. And there's a strike now from Schmeidler to the sophomore from Iowa, Louisiana. Yes, that is actually a city in Louisiana, so they get the two state names.
That's interesting. I can't say I've heard of that one before.
And Schmeidler fights his way back up to a 3-2 count against Langley.
I must say there are some strange city names out there, but that one's up there. I think that's one of the more interesting ones that I've heard for sure.
Schmeidler looking for his third strikeout of the game and doesn't get it there. It's a little bit too low for ball 4. That now brings up number 4, Cameron Parks, another player for this Dodge City team from LSU Alexandria. Larks scored in the first inning off of a E6 RBI from Max Irwin. And for Parks, he's now continues his run of scoring in every game this year. He comes into tonight's game with a total of 11 when you count on that one run in the first inning. Oh and 1 with no outs, and the pitch is on the way. And Schmeidler finds his own that time, and he's ahead 0-2. And Schmeidler got 2 strikeouts in the first inning. The first one was swinging against Jackson Phillips, who's in the hole on a full count. He also got Trace Copper looking for the final out of the inning. And this one's a hard ground ball fielded by Tabor Stokes, and he's running too fast to turn around. So no throw will be made, and I think they might list that one as a fielder's choice. The scoreboard out in right field's listing it as a hit, because I think that Tabor Stokes was probably trying to look back at second, but just couldn't make the throw with how fast he was running.
I mean, Tabor Stokes already is a really quick guy. He's quick on his feet, has great reaction time. The fact that he's able to get to that ball was actually incredible. I think he saved an extra base there. They could have sent a guy to third if it wasn't for that stop over there just on the edge of the outfield. So, first of all, props to Stokes for being able to make that stop. But I think you're right in that sense. He maybe could have turned his body enough to throw over to first, but I don't think he wanted to risk overthrowing the man at first base and then give up extra bases. I think it was a smart decision there from Stokes.
Schmeidler continues to look back at second base. Big lead taken by Langley, and he will focus on the batter. The pitch is going to be hit into right field. Cox runs back for this one, and in foul territory. This one takes a bounce and then goes out of play to begin with 1 strike in the count to the center fielder.
I mean, the A's are making good contact right now. There's no other way to put it. They're just seeing the ball really well, and I think that, we knew it was going to be a dogfight coming into this one, and the A's have broken this one open early, but don't count the Larks out. We've seen them many a times this season already really start to lay on the runs later in the game.
Schmeidler gets this one on the outside part of the plate for back-to-back batters. He gets an 0-2 count. Looking to finish the job against Amador. Amador had a single in the first inning. Finished with 2 hits, both of which were home runs yesterday against the Game Day Angels. And Schmeidler delivers the balls. This one goes on the outside. Wilson centers his glove. The pitch is on the way, and this one's a little bit too high. And it's an even count at 2-2 after it started with an 0-2 count. The Larks do already have somebody warming up in their left field bullpen, trying to get a look at who it is.
So they've got maybe even have a couple guys out there warming up in the pen.
I can see Justin Pinardo. Also out there is number 21, Max Hendricks. And an additional player is sitting down, so we'll continue to monitor that as the A's have this 4-0 lead. 2-2 on the way, and this one's going to hit the knee of Amador. Actually, I don't think that did. That was pretty close.
I think he jumped out of the way just in time. I mean, literally just by the skin of his teeth. He jumped. It was kind of a wild pitch there from Schmeidler. Nice stop from behind the plate by Wilson, but just kind of danced his way out of the box just in time. I mean, literally, if he would have been any later, that would have nailed him in the knee.
Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a swing and a miss for out number 1, and Schmeidler gets his 3rd strikeout of the game with 2 runners on.
Well, he needed that one. That was an important strikeout right there from Ty Schmeidler. That's going to give him a little bit of a confidence boost here as we are in the early. It's technically still the earlier parts of the second inning, and hopefully it'll get him through this inning.
Now up is the 4-hole hitter, the DH, Jackson Phillips. That first pitch targets the outside part of the plate, and it's called ball 1.
He's got a lefty-lefty matchup here. He's got to take advantage of this matchup. Try to get another out here. Even if it's just weak contact ground ball, you could maybe even try to go for a double play ball here in this situation.
Contact is made on this one. It goes off the dugout fence on the first base side where the A's are at. Moves the count to 1-1.
In a lefty-lefty same arm situation, you really can take advantage of the breaking balls because they're really hard to read out of the hand of the pitcher when you don't have as much time to react as a left-handed hitter.
Schmeidler keeps taking looks back over at second. And just misses the zone on that one, and the count is 2-1.
That was a very enticing pitch. That was a difficult one to lay off of. And good-looking pitch there from Schmeidler. Jackson Phillips was able to have some good discipline there on that one.
Phillips looking to rebound after striking out on a full count in the first inning. He's now down 2-2. He's in the DH spot tonight, is listed as a first baseman, and then on the Seward County roster, he's also listed as a left-handed pitcher. Schmeidler delivers the pitch and just misses upstairs, and it's another full count for Phillips.
Wonder if he goes back to the slider here. The two pitches before that, he was able to set up a swing and a miss. Wonder if he tries to go back to that same pitch.
Here's the second payoff pitch of the inning, and this one's a pop fly. Going after it is Rainer Bean, and he makes the catch as Dodge City's third base coach gets out of the way, and there's out number 2.
Excellent job there from Schmeidler. Was able to generate weak contact, got him to kind of just pop it up by pitching him really high and inside, and it was hard for him to really barrel the ball when it's so far inside on you. But in a 3-2 count like that, you can really leverage the fact that the batter's the one that should be protecting. You're really in the driver's seat in a situation like that as a pitcher.
The next batter is number 5, Max Irwin. He reached on an E6 in the first inning, and we'll let the first pitch go by for strike 1. He drove in with the first run with that play, and then a second one on the air because he advanced the second, and then Yael Amador scored. So he's working with 2 runners on once again and 2 outs. Schmeidler goes high and outside on that one, and the count is 1-1. Schmeidler takes a look back at second, then delivers and goes to his fastball, and he gets ahead 1-2 against the Burleson, Texas native, Max Irwin.
That was a sneaky fastball by Ty Schmeidler. Was able to just dot that inner half of the plate on the outer edge of the zone. Nice pitch location there from Schmeidler.
And the storm clouds are now starting to roll into Larks Park, as you can see it in the top left part of your screen. We'll continue to monitor that as this one's a line drive, and this one's going to get past both Bean and Stokes. And a run has a chance to score as the throw goes to home plate. And scoring from second is Landon Langley, and that's the second RBI of the game for Max Irwin.
I do wonder here when we'll see a pitching change. I do see Keith Harper looking over to that bullpen, maybe checking on the status to see if his guys are ready to go or not over there in the pen. And you don't want to let this get too far out of hand to make it out of reach for this Larks squad.
With 2 outs, Jaden Moreno awaits the pitch. And he hits a line drive, and this one will bounce in foul territory for strike 1. Moreno's a senior from Pensacola, Florida, playing in his first game in 6 days for the A's. Currently in the transfer portal after playing at Prairie View A&M in 2025. Comes into tonight's game with a .462 on base percentage. And Schmeidler delivers the second pitch of the at-bat, and he gets it on the inside for strike number 2.
Well, Moreno's a tall guy. You can see him over there in that left-handed batter's box. You can even just see his pants. You know, his pants are kind of not hitting right where they should. They hit just a little bit too high. They're almost high waters on him, and it just speaks to how tall he is and really athletic build.
Next pitch goes high and outside for ball one. Schmeidler's already gotten one strikeout this inning. He's already got 3 on the night. 2 of those are forwards facing, 1 is backwards. And a swing and a miss as Schmeidler goes to the curveball. Moreno reached for it, and that will retire the side, but the A's add a total of 2 more runs from Arturo Blanquense and Landon Langley. And we'll see what the Larks can do when we come back. Sean Keenan leads off the bottom of the second inning. For the second inning in a row, the Dodge City A's get 3 hits and add 2 more runs to their total as they lead 5-0 against the Larks. And they now bring up the 5th batter in their order, Sean Keenan, followed by Brand Wilson and Tanner Norman. Nolan Huff is back on the mound. The junior from McPherson College will deliver the pitch to start the inning, and it's too low for ball 1. In the first inning, the Larks had 1 hit, and the A's had 1 error. And the Larks left a runner at third base, fighting from behind for the second game in a row. Next pitch goes to the plate, and this one's too far outside for ball number 2. Storm clouds are continuing to roll into Larks Park. It hasn't rained a drop yet, but I feel like that's going to change in just a second. The third pitch on the way from Huff is a line drive deep into right field. Copper will run back for it, and he reaches up and makes the grab for the first out.
That was not a routine fly ball by any means for Copper. That was a good snag from him, and great contact there off the bat.
And the net's in the way of our camera. We'll get that fixed as soon as possible. Now up is number 32, Brand Wilson, who is tonight's 8th Street Liquor beverage batter. Earlier tonight I said that he is a new face in the lineup. That was a mistake on my part. He played in the last game, and he went 1 for 5 with an RBI double and a run. Count is 1-0 to the catcher. And Huff's next pitch goes low and inside for ball 2. Huff is a junior from Spearville, Kansas, making his first start with the A's after 3 relief appearances. And Wilson hits this one over to the third baseman. That's Irwin, who makes a long throw down to first in time for out number 2. So the A's have an opportunity for a 3-up, 3-down inning. And I was told by Eli that it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. So if it starts to pick up a little bit more, we'll switch our camera angle to here in the booth. But for now, there's 2 outs, and Tanner Norman steps up to the plate. And Huff kicks and deals. This one gets fouled back into the net for strike number 1. Tanner Norman's coming off of a 1-for-4 performance against Newton, where he got an RBI single and scored a run. So we're going to switch our camera angle now. It's starting to rain a little bit harder. Eli's taking that one down, and I wasn't able to get our other camera set up quick enough, so I'm just going to hold it for now as best as I can while also focusing on my notes. The count is 1-2 to Tanner Norman. We'll get this set up in between innings. And the next pitch is on the way, and this one goes outside for ball 2. The A's looking for a 3-up, 3-down inning after facing 4 Larks batters in the first. Fans are starting to make their way to their vehicles because of the rain starting to pick up. And it's a full count to Tanner Norman. Nolan Huff gets set. The payoff pitch goes to the plate, and this one is outside for ball number 4. And Tanner Norman is the 3rd Lark to walk tonight. So Eli was able to set up our main camera up here in the booth, so I can give my left arm a little bit of a rest now. And now up for the Larks is Tabor Stokes. And I'll ask you, what is it looking like out there right now? I can see a lot of the fans starting to make their way out.
Well, I went out there to fix it, and unfortunately, it started spitting too much, and I just didn't want to risk it for our camera's sake. So we'll give you the best view we can give you for now. This is what we get to see every game, so you guys get to experience the booth experience up here with us.
The next pitch goes to the plate, and that's going to be called ball 1 to Tabor Stokes, who started with a strike. He has Tanner Norman over at first base. And Braden Cox is the final batter in the Larks order. He's on deck.
Sorry about that, folks. Our magnets snapped together on me. That's not exactly how that was supposed to go. I didn't draw it up that way anyways.
We're not working with the best conditions right now. We're just working as best we can right now and continuing to monitor the weather as the game goes on. But the count is 1-2 to Tabor Stokes with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Stokes, playing in his 7th game of the year, will foul this one back and stays alive.
Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I think I've got it in a spot now where it won't do that again.
Nolan Huff in search of his 7th strikeout of the year. And the Spearville, Kansas native goes low that time with a curveball, and that's called ball 2. Stokes went 1 for 2 in the game against Newton, and he hits a ground ball that rolls foul over to the dugout on the first base side, and he awaits pitch number 7 from Nolan Huff. And here comes the 2-2, and this one's a deep fly ball into center field. Amador runs back for this one, tracking it down. He makes the jump, and he can't make the grab. It hits off the wall, and this one's going to score Tanner Norman. A chance for a triple from Tabor Stokes going to third, and he will slide in, and he is called out. He records the double, getting tied out at third, but the Larks have their first run of tonight's game, as it is 5-1 going into the top of the third. The 7, 8, 9 batters are up next for the Dodge City A's when we come back here on the Larks Network. Welcome back to Larks Park for the top of the third inning, and the Larks make a change on the mound to face the bottom third of the A's order. And the first pitch is a strike from number 22, Justin Piñardo. As Ty Schmeidler's day will come to an end after 2 innings pitched. Piñardo's second pitch is going to take a bounce on home plate for ball 1. Isaiah Velasco walked on a 3-1 count in the first inning. And this bottom third of the A's order scored a run in the second inning. That was from Arturo Blanquense, the ninth batter who had the solo home run. A swing and a miss on the 1-1 count, just dropped into the zone. 1-2 now to the catcher. As we take a look at Justin Piñardo, this is his 4th game with the Larks. He's pitched a total of 7 innings. All of those have been relief appearances. Has an ERA right at 4 and an opponent batting average of 130. A slow chopper goes right back to him. He runs over to first base, gives an underhand toss to Tanner Norman, and it's in time for out number 1. A 1-3 play gets the first out of the inning, and that brings up number 1, Trace Copper, the right fielder from Tabor College. Piñardo's next pitch is on the way, and this one's high and outside for ball 1. Ty Schmeidler, the starter, struck out Copper in the first inning. That was on a 2-2 count that he got in the zone for the final out of the first inning. In that inning, the A's scored a total of 3 runs on 3 hits, and 2 runners were left on base. Count now 1-1. The A's are trying to end a 3-game winless streak tonight. They jumped out to an 8-3 start and were second place in the RMBL, and have lost their last 3 games against the Kansas Cannons and Game Day Angels. Two and 1 to Copper. He's followed by Arturo Blanquense and then Landon Langley at the top of the order. Piñardo kicks and deals, and this one's fouled back, hitting the top of the net for strike number 2. Piñardo targeted that pitch on the inside. This one will chop foul over to the third base coach for the A's. Still just 1 out. And Piñardo will go inside on this one. It's a swing and a miss to Copper for out number 2, and Piñardo gets his 9th strikeout of his career with the Larks. So the Larks have a chance for a 3-up, 3-down inning. They faced 8 batters in the first inning and 7 in the second. And Arturo Blanquense, who had the solo home run in the prior inning, will try to keep the inning alive. That home run was on a 2-1 count. He swings at the first pitch, and this one goes out of play for strike 1.
That was an extremely snappy pitch there. You could see his wrist kind of snap that ball forward, really generating some serious spin on that ball. It's a stat that a lot of premier scouts really look for, is that spin rate on a pitch.
Piñardo finds the strike zone on the 0-1 count. It's now 0-2.
Just watch as the ball comes out of his hand and watch the way that his wrist moves. It generates so much velocity and spin rate on that ball.
Blanquense leaves that pitch upstairs for ball 1. Blanquense, this is his 13th game with the A's. Did not play with Dodge City Community College this season due to an injury. And the next pitch goes low, evening the count up at 2-2. Brand Wilson wants this one on the outside. Piñardo kicks and deals, and this one is inside this time for ball 3, and it's a full count to the shortstop. Tabor Stokes shifts over closer to third base, and this one's a walk for Blankense after he started down 0-2 in the count.
Hard fought at bat there. I mean, there's nothing else you can really say about it. Props to both of the guys, the guy on the hill and in the box. That was a very hard fought count from the both of them. It's really fun to get to watch two players that are just so competitive at the plate just go at it.
For the third time in 3 innings, Landon Langley comes up to bat. And the sophomore awaits the pitch from Piñardo. It's on the way. And he thought about going around, but it finds the zone for strike 1. Langley is followed by Cameron Parks and Yael Amador. For Langley, he's 0 for 1. He walked in the second inning and also scored. But in the first inning, he popped out over to Hutch Russell at second base, and he fouls this one off to go down 0-2. And the umpire will call the Larks ball boy over to get some new baseballs into the game. Langley steps back into the right-handed box. The Larks are sending Justin Piñardo to the mound after a start from Ty Schmeidler, so it's 2 left-handed pitchers that the A's are facing tonight. And that one goes upstairs for ball 1 to Langley. Langley now has 10 straight games for the A's with at least 1 run. And another pitch goes outside, and a successful steal for Arturo Blankense is going to put him over at second base.
And I don't mind that decision there from Brand Wilson to go ahead and lay off on that one instead of trying to make the throw down to second. That pitch just came in so much slower than the runner, and the runner had such a good jump that I don't think that Wilson would have really had to play at second base. So that was probably a good call from him to not even risk the overthrow, risk giving up that extra base, especially with 2 outs on the board.
Justin Piñardo just needs 1 more strike to end the inning. He takes a peek back over at second, then focuses on the batter, and it's now a full count for the second batter in a row. Piñardo looking for his second strikeout of the inning. The pitch goes to the plate, and it's too far inside for ball number 4. The runner at second is Arturo Blankense. Landon Langley now occupies first base. And Cameron Parks, who's 2 for 2 tonight, steps up for another turn.
This is where the Larks really have to dig in. They've got a 5-1 deficit right now. They're playing from behind, and they've really put themselves in a pretty solid position here in this inning, playing the quality baseball that they have here in this inning. But they've got to convert here with 2 guys on and 2 outs.
And this one looked like it was going very high, and it drops down into the zone for strike 1 to Cameron Parks.
And that's where he's generating so much break with that snappy motion off of his wrist. It's that breaking ball. And even if he's throwing a fastball, it's still really difficult to read out of the hand.
Piñardo kicks and deals in the 0-1, goes a little bit too low, and the count is evened up. Piñardo's trying to keep those 2 runners at first and second. He has not given up a run since June 2nd when the Larks took on the Colorado Lumberjacks. And a ground ball will roll into the outfield. Running up on it is Cooper Holtor from left field. He will throw it home, and the tag is not going to be made. Brand Wilson lost control of it, and runners now occupy the corners.
Yeah, Cooper Holtorf had his hands on top of his hat after that throw. That was a beautiful throw from Cooper Holtorf. He read it perfectly, made a great throw. The timing was there, and Brand Wilson, I'm sure, is upset that he wasn't able to get a better glove on that ball because I think that would have been an out there if he would have been able to secure that ball behind home plate.
And I feel like I jinxed it right there because I was talking about Piñardo not giving up a run since June 2nd. And then that happens.
That's the commentator's curse for you. It's a real thing, folks.
Now stepping up for the third time, Yael Amador, the center fielder, will await the pitch and a throw to Tanner Norman. Now a throw to second base, and the throw was not in time. They're going to say Cameron Parks will steal second base and put 2 runners in scoring position.
And I think that's the right call there from that umpire out there. I think he just barely slipped under the tag. I mean, just by a hair. And the pickoff move was a little bit slow from Piñato, and so I think it was difficult for him to make that throw over to first base. He wasn't going to be able to turn to second, otherwise they would have called him for the balk. And so by the time that ball got to second, he was already pretty much there at the bag.
First pitch to Amador is a ball. And the freshman from Bronx, New York is 1 for 2 on the night, singling in the first inning and scoring the second run of the game. Piñato delivers the pitch, and this one goes out of play into the parking lot of Doom for strike 1.
I'm hearing some thunder in the area. It'll be interesting to – nope, just kidding. That is not thunder. That is definitely our PA system. I felt it on the table, and I was like, man, that was some really heavy thunder there. I'm surprised I didn't see any lightning, but evidently that was not thunder.
A chopper over to Tabor Stokes. He will throw it down to first base, and that will retire the side. But the A's do add another run from Arturo Blanquense off the RBI single from Cameron Parks. 6-1 is our score, and the bottom of the third is up next here on the Larks Network. The A's have extended their lead to 6-1 over the Larks in the 12th game of 2026. And Braden Cox will now be the final batter to go through the Larks' first rotation. And the Larks scored 1 run in the second inning off of 1 hit. And the first pitch to Braden Cox is fouled back for strike 1. Nolan Huff is still on the mound for Dodge City in his first start with the team after 3 relief appearances. Braden Cox awaits the next pitch. That one's too far inside for ball 1. This is Cox's 5th game for the Larks as a batter. He's made some appearances as a courtesy runner, but is in the lineup tonight for his 14th plate appearance right here. Fouls the next pitch into the pole for strike number 2. The Larks are back to the top of their order after Braden Cox. It's Cooper Holtorf, Rainer Bean, and Hutch Russell. The catcher wants this one on the outside. Huff delivers. And this is a fly ball deep into right field. Going back for this one is Copper. He goes to the wall, and this one's gone. It's a solo home run for Braden Cox as he gets his first as a Lark.
And that right there, folks, is what the Larks needed. That was the spark right there. And we're gonna, however this game pans out down the stretch, I promise you, we're gonna look back at this moment. We're gonna say, yeah, that was what got things going for this Larks team, and that was it right there. Great knock for him. That was just great contact. Read the pitch beautifully, drove it. Followed through on that swing, didn't give it an 80%. That was a 100% swing, and he drilled it, hit it pure. That great hit there for him.
That was the Larks' 17th home run of the season, and they are back to the top of their order for the second time with Cooper Holtorf, who had the single on the 0-1 count in the first inning. He chops this one foul just behind the third base bag for strike one. Nolan Huff's next pitch is on the way, and this one's going to be another fly ball, this time going into left center field. Amador will run up on it, and he's got the catch for the first out.
That one looked like it might have had a chance to drop out into shallow center. It just carried a little bit further than I think he was expecting it to, and it was a pretty routine fly ball there for the center fielder Amador.
Now up the third baseman, Rainer Bean. This is his first time in that position this season after a few appearances as a second baseman and shortstop. He walked in a full count on his first appearance. And the pitch goes inside for ball one. Rainer Bean is making his second appearance for the Larks in back-to-back games. In the game against the Newton Rebels, he came in as a pinch hitter in the sixth inning and made 2 appearances at the plate in place of Tabor Stokes, who's batting eighth tonight. He is ahead 2-0. The middle infielders are playing closer to the grass for the A's. And the pitch goes to the plate. And another fly ball into left field. Going after it is Parks, and he runs up and gets the second out of the inning.
Well, something to take away from this, back-to-back fly balls. The top of the order seeing the ball really well. They're making good contact with the ball. They've just got to straighten her out just a little bit more, and I think they're going to give it a ride here sooner rather than later. It seems like we've seen it a lot with this Larks team where it takes them a little bit to get going, but once they find it, it all snowballs, and it just turns into this plethora of runs, and you can feel it building up. You can feel the energy, and all of a sudden it just releases, and it's just so fun to watch this team.
First pitch to Hutch Russell is going to be popped up on that left field side. Parks runs after it along with another teammate, and he dives for it, and the ball falls down in fair territory, and they're going to call him safe at second base. Hutch Russell able to beat the throw and get his first hit of the night.
And sometimes, sometimes baseball really truly is a game of luck. It feels like that one. I think Hutch Russell did luck out a little bit there on that one. Didn't exactly make the contact he was hoping to there on the end of the barrel of his bat, but it dropped down, and a hit is a hit, and I think Hutch Russell will take that one any day of the week.
With Russell at second base, but that brings up the DH, Dylan LaRue. The second time tonight he's worked with Russell on bag. And LaRue will make contact on the first pitch. It's a diving play from the first baseman, and it rolls into right field. Russell will sprint home as LaRue stops at first, and the pitcher focuses on LaRue and can't make the tag. So Russell will score all the way from second as LaRue gets his first RBI on the night.
That was a beautiful knock there from LaRue. He squared that pitch up beautifully, and that's that switch hitting that we talk about. It really plays to his benefit when he's up there at the plate. He can really mess with pitchers' heads when he's able to bat from either side of the plate, was able to square one up right there, took full advantage of it.
Now up is number 7, Sean Keenan, the leadoff batter of the second inning, who had a fly out into right field. And Keenan makes contact with this one. It's a deep fly ball into right field. Copper slows down, and this one is gone. 2 home runs in the third inning for the Larks, and just like that, it's a 1-run game.
What did I tell you, folks? It was just a matter of time before this Larks offense got going. What a knock for Sean Keenan. That was a no-doubter off the bat. That thing had more than enough height and distance to get over the fence out there and right. Of course, a little shallow outfield out there, 319 at that right foul pole. So he took full advantage of that one and gave it a ride.
The Larks trailed 5-1 at the end of the second inning. They've scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the third. And now Brand Wilson, tonight's 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, will try to keep the inning alive off of the second home run of the inning. The first one came on the solo home run from Braden Cox as the leadoff batter. And Sean Keenan just had that 2-run home run, scoring along with him Dylan LaRue. 1-0 count to the Southwestern Oklahoma State commit. And the next pitch is on the way, and this one's going to go low for ball 2.
Well, let me tell you, one of my favorite parts about baseball, it's a 2-out rally. Well, I mean, what a thrill. I can't imagine being in that dugout right now, having that kind of energy in the dugout with just, having 2 outs on the board, but you just keep it alive. It's just so fun to watch these guys battle.
Another pitch left inside for ball 3 to Wilson. And a short meeting here for the A's. It's the catcher Velasco and the pitcher Huff. They don't currently have anybody warming up in right field, so they're just going to focus on getting the final out of this inning. This is a non-league game tonight, so they're definitely going to save some pitchers for tomorrow night's game in Dodge City, which that one is a league game.
And I think that while, yes, it's a non-league game, there's still a rivalry here. I mean, this is a rivalry and between the Larks and the A's, and it always has been. I mean, I even saw your story tonight on Snapchat. You were like, it's a first game of the year for the Dodge City A's and the Larks rivalry, and it truly is. You just feel like there's a different kind of energy out there on the diamond when these two teams are out there battling.
3-1 is the count, and this one goes off the leg of Wilson. And he will now head down to first base. And he's the tying run if the Larks can score him this inning.
Well, what a tough cookie. He didn't even act like that even phased him. I mean, he stood in that box, took off all of his shin guards and everything, and just jogged his way down to first. And I think they'll probably put a courtesy runner in just since they've got 2 outs to give him some time to get his gear on.
The courtesy runner coming in is number 12, Cade Green. And number 34, Tanner Norman, steps back up. The first run of the game for the Larks after an RBI double from Tabor Stokes. Tanner Norman was walked on a full count, and he scored all the way from first, and a throwback to first base is not in time. The A's have continued to watch the runner at first base if that runner is the lead runner. And they've already caught the Larks stealing once. Another throw back to first base, not in time. Brand Wilson, Cade Green slides back safely.
Very fixated on Cade Green over there on first base, and I think rightfully so. Cade Green's really got some wheels on him.
Cade Green has a total of 10 stolen bases this year. He'll stay at first base on the first pitch to Norman, and the count is 1-0.
That's just crazy to me that he's already got 10 stolen bases, and the amount of games the Larks have played this season. He's almost got a stolen base in almost every single game. That's just incredible.
Well, he also has 2 games where he's had 3 steals, so that definitely helps as well.
Yeah, that's no kidding.
Two and 0 is the count to the Choctaw, Oklahoma native. And Norman leaves another one outside for ball 3. And there's the first strike to Tanner Norman on the low inside corner.
That was a sneaky pitch there. Was able to just kind of slip it in the inner half of the plate.
Norman faced a full count in his first appearance, so this could be considered familiar territory as the count is 3-1. And Huff's next pitch is on the way, and this one finds the strike zone. And throw down to second base is not in time. Green started to go off the second base bag a little bit, but he stays on just long enough to be called safe.
I didn't think he had a quick enough or a big enough jump, I guess, over there off of first base to make it in time. Props to Velasco behind home plate tonight. He's done a nice job at really holding runners accountable on the base paths, and Green just barely by the skin of his teeth there on that one.
And a ground ball over to the third baseman, and he bobbles it, and the throw down to first base is not going to be in time. Irwin commits an error, and the inning stays alive with runners at first and second.
And here's what happened on that play. He committed that error, and it'll go down as an error. But I'm going to be honest. I think that there should be some sort of a stat where you can credit a runner on the base paths for like a partial hit, because right there, Cade Green, the lead runner, kind of went almost a third of the way over to third base, stared the guy down that was fielding the ball on that play, and I think it threw him off. It was almost in his head like, oh, I got to make sure he's not going to get in my way while I'm fielding this ball. So I think that really helped Tanner Norman get down to first base. So I guess half of a hit maybe to Cade Green. I don't know.
Willem Allen is back on the mound for another meeting with the A's. This is their second meeting, and they now have somebody warming up in right field, but Nolan Huff is going to stay on the mound for the rest of the inning. The pitcher currently in the bullpen for the A's, it looks like number 10. It's a little bit tough to see with the protective net in the way. Number 10 on their roster is listed as a catcher, so we'll just have to wait and see who comes in. That actually looks like number 16, so they'll probably sub in Jace Gifford in between innings. But back to the action. The count is no balls and no strikes to Tabor Stokes. We're working with runners at first and second. The Larks have gone through their entire lineup as Braden Cox is on deck. And the pitch goes inside, rolls away a short distance from Velasco, and he throws down to first. And Norman is back safely. Stokes had the RBI double in his first appearance in the last inning. That one scored Tanner Norman all the way from first base. But he would be tagged at third, and that would end the inning. Count is now 1-1 to the Ball State Cardinal. Pop up here by Stokes on the 1-1 count. Calling for it is the shortstop, Plaquense, and he makes the catch on the run to end the inning. But the Larks have fought their way right back into this one, scoring 4 runs, including a solo home run from Braden Cox and a 2-run home run from Sean Keenan, and the score is 6-5 after 3. It is a 6-5 game to start the top of the fourth inning, and along with tradition, I'm going to throw things over now to Eli.
We welcome you back to Larks Park. It is a entertaining one, to say the least, between the Larks and the A's, a rivalry within the RMBL. Still on the hill for the Larks, Justin Piñardo. And standing in for the A's, Jackson Phillips, designated hitter. The 1-1 pitch paints the inside part of the plate for strike 2. Phillips takes a check swing, twirls his black bat through the zone, waves it just behind his helmet. Now Piñardo deals the 1-2. Swing and a miss. That's a strikeout. Piñardo steps off the hill as he records the first out of the top of the fourth inning.
And in that last inning, when he came in, he jumped out to that 2-out lead before the A's would eventually score a run. But that's going to be a key to him to slow them down, especially after that third inning that the Larks had.
Piñardo has had confidence ever since he stepped foot on that hill this evening, and you could tell from the moment he walked out there. It's been very impressive. A check swing to Max Irwin. And it didn't matter whether he went or not, as the home plate umpire called that a strike over the outer half of the plate. No balls and a strike to the third baseman, Max Irwin. Piñardo holds his mitt just in front of his face, comes to his belt, now deals the 0-1. That one misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Larks just tacked on 4 runs in the bottom of the third inning if you're just now joining us. And they have made this one very interesting as they trail it just by 1 by a score of 6-5 as the 1-1 pitch comes in low for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to Max Irwin. Piñardo deals the 2-1. A curveball drops into the upper half of the zone for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the third baseman, Max Irwin. Piñardo turns, now deals the 2-2. That one's popped up sky high. Underneath it is the first baseman, Norman. Just in the coach's box down the first base line, he makes the grab for out number 2. 2 down here in the top of the fourth inning, and that brings up the first baseman, Jaden Moreno. Moreno, I was saying his last time up, man, he is a tall guy. He really has a very athletic build. I can imagine he surely has a pretty decent amount of power behind him. First pitch to Moreno is low on the inner half of the plate for ball 1. Piñardo rubs his hand to the turf before coming set to the mound. Now deals the 1-0. The breaking ball misses down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. The Larks in their throwback uniforms tonight. The cream-colored tops and pants. The 2-0 pitch missing low and away again. 3 balls and no strikes. Those throwback uniforms have that interlocking red HL over the chest, the left chest pocket. The numbers in blue on the front and the back. 3-0. Missing inside, just barely missing over the inner half of the plate. That'll be a walk for Jaden Moreno. He'll take a trip down to first base, and that brings up the catcher, Isaiah Velasco. Velasco wearing bright pink batting gloves as he draws a cross on the turf before stepping into the left-handed batter's box. The A's wearing their forest green uniforms. They've got yellow accents on the sleeves and the collar with gray pants. And Piñardo will take a look back to first base as Moreno will step back onto the bag safely. The The first pitch to Velasco. That one misses just a bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes. The A's have the word Dodge City across the chest in white with white numbers, and now pitching coach Keith Harper will take a trip out to the mound to have a quick chat with Justin Piñardo. And after a strong start to the top of the 3rd inning, and now a strong start to the top of the 4th inning, it seems like he loses his rhythm just a little bit before he can pull things back together. And I wonder now if this is just a chat from Keith Harper saying, hey, trust your stuff and get us out of this inning, because Piñardo really has been pitching well here this evening.
And he's in a similar spot from that 3rd inning because he starts with 2 outs, including 1 strikeout in each inning. So, yeah, this is just a chance for Keith Harper to tell him to just trust your game and focus on the batter, because the Larks are in desperate need of a stop. The A's have scored in every inning so far except this one.
It seems like every single time that you get an opportunity to interview a pitcher, they always have glowing reviews about the coaching staff, and especially Keith Harper, who works very closely with a lot of these pitchers. A 1-0 count to the Isaiah Velasco, the catcher. A runner on first for the A's. That pitch drops over the outer half for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to the catcher, Velasco. Runner on first and 2 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Piñardo deals the 1-1. The curveball missing just outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Piñardo adjusts his red cap. Another very nice touch to those throwback uniforms with the red cap that has a commemorative 80th anniversary embroidery on the side of it. The 2-1. That one missing just low. Came across the plate just fine, but just a little bit below knee level. As Velasco will stand back in for the 3-1. The pitch. That one's fouled away straight back into the pole, holding up that safety netting behind home plate. And that was a rocket off the bat.
Honestly, I feel like the pole's been hit more times than the net, which that based on where it's positioned, how does that even happen that many times?
It's crazy. You would think the net has with so much more surface area, but it just seems like these batters are just maybe there's magnets in the baseballs. Who knows? A full count. Piñardo deals. The runner goes. A high fly ball out to deep left field underneath its Holtorf on the warning track. He makes the grab in front of the McDonald's sign out in left field. The Larks hold the A's scoreless for the first time in the contest. They trail it by just 1 run by a score of 6-5 as we go to the middle of the 4th. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Larks Baseball on the Larks Network. Back at Larks Park here in the bottom of the fourth inning. The Larks trailing by just a run, a score of 6-5 on the scoreboard out in right field. A new pitcher on the hill now for the Dodge City A's. Glenn Green III takes to the hill for Dodge City in this non-league contest. This one is still very competitive, all things considered, and we've mentioned it a couple times already this evening, but this is always a rivalry game, and it always has all the stops come out for a game like this. So it's been very entertaining to say the least. The first pitch from Green III, a slider across the plate for strike one. The bottom of the order for the Larks, the 9-hole hitter Cox drills one out to left field. It's belted, but underneath it is Parks as the wind kept that one in the ballpark. The flag out and left, just pushing it just enough back into the field. Cox really had a good barrel on that ball, just wasn't able to carry it as far as he was hoping.
Yeah, just like his first appearance where he had the solo home run, he's looking for that launch angle and the power, just couldn't get enough of it that time.
That brings up the top of the order for the Larks, Cooper Holtorf, the left fielder, up to the plate. Green III throws a pitch over the outer half. It just misses outside for ball one. The 1-0. That one misses over the inner half of the plate, just below knee high. Holtorf steps back into the right-handed batter's box and waits the 2-0, the pitch. That one misses high and outside. 3 balls and no strikes to count to Holtorf. Green III really upping the tempo on the mound in terms of his delivery. The 3-0. A slider that just touches the outer half, painting that outer half of the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike the count to Holtorf. The pitch. That one's fouled away and way out of play. And will go into the parking lot of doom. Full count now. The first full count for Glenn Green III. Green III takes a deep breath. Now the payoff pitch. It's a slide that misses down and away. And that'll send Cooper Holtorf down to first base. The Larks have that tying run now on the base paths. And now the 2-hole hitter, the third baseman, Rainer Bean, comes up to the plate. A lefty-righty matchup here with Bean standing in that left-handed batter's box. See if he can take advantage of that here. The first pitch to Bean is popped up and sliced foul into the concourse, and that didn't hit anybody, thank goodness, but it came very close. Wow. Seeing 2 Larks fans hugging each other in relief that didn't hit them because they were not aware of where that ball was coming from. That one was about a foot away from nailing somebody. Thank goodness it didn't. No balls and a strike to the 2-hole hitter, Rainer Bean. Runner on first for the Larks and 1 out. The pitch missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count. Green III comes set. Deals the 1-1. That one misses outside. His velocity is certainly slower than Huff. Makes you wonder, how do the Larks adjust their timing now at the plate?
Well, the thing with Green is that he doesn't go to a full windup. He kind of just throws it right away, almost like a fielder even, when he goes to the plate.
I'm sure that can be kind of tricky sometimes for a batter to read. It's not quite like batting practice, but it's also not quite like you're hitting off of a regular pitcher either. The 2-1. Just missing over the outer half, and he is really working the outer parts of the plate, and he comes really close on most of these pitches, but is unable to be able to expand that strike zone. The 3-1 is popped up high into the air. This one will go out of play, I think. Yeah, it will, and it goes over the top of the A's dugout. And that'll move the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes, another full count. This time with Rainer Bean in the box. He'll tap his bat on both of his cleats a couple times as everybody looks to reset for the payoff pitch. Green the third, letting that right hand dangle just below his glove. He comes set, now deals the 3-2. That one's popped up into left center field. Running it down is Parks. On his high horse, it drops down for a base hit. A sky-high blooper drops into left field, and the Larks have runners on first and second. The go-ahead run on first base.
Blankense was going after that ball as well, so I was kind of wondering if there was a little bit of confusion, especially with how long of a run Parks had to make.
And I think that ball really just hung up in the air, and the wind is certainly playing a factor. It's changed all sorts of different directions tonight with all the weather we've been having. And so I think it was tough for Blankense to call him off because the left fielder Parks had a better read on that ball than Blankense did. So runners on first and second for the Larks. Up to the plate, Hutch Russell, the second baseman. He'll take the first pitch at the knees for a ball. Russell taps his wooden bat on home plate. Twirls it and puts it just behind his navy blue helmet. The 1-0. That's a fly ball out to left field. Underneath it is Parks. This time he makes the grab, and there's two down. And really, anybody that hits the ball out to left field is going to have a really hard time of getting it to drop down into play with just the way the wind has shifted now. And it seemed like that was actually the opposite earlier in this game, but right now it's unpredictable weather changes here out in western Kansas, but what can you expect?
Yeah, there was no wind at the start of this game. It was all humidity. That's changed since then, now that we've got the clouds in and it's felt a little bit cooler.
Now the designated hitter, Dylan LaRue, steps into the left-handed batter's box. He belts that one foul. Out of play and over the top of the A's dugout. He made decent contact on that pitch, and I think he might have cracked his bat as he walks back to the dugout, hands that bat to Keith Harper. And it definitely sounded a bit odd coming off of the bat as now Keith Harper's trying to break the bat over his head or something. Wasn't able to muscle that one yet, but to see if we can accomplish that by the end of the game, we'll keep you guys updated. But now Dylan LaRue not with an orange bat. He's moved now to this burgundy bat. I had commented a few games ago on his orange bat. Now he's got a burgundy bat that he's got, maybe more of a mahogany color, as he steps into the left-handed batter's box.
And honestly, I don't know if Harper was trying to break the bat or if he was just seeing, is this bat broken on the inside?
An 0-1 count to LaRue after that foul ball. Green, the third, made a throw back to second. He'll step back on the rubber. An 0-1 count, the pitch to LaRue. Low and inside to LaRue. 1 ball and 1 strike now to the designated hitter. And LaRue so far only batting from the left side here this evening, as both pitchers that have been in the contest tonight for the A's have been righties. The 1-1, an off-speed pitch, missing over the inner half. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to LaRue now. A look back to second base. The 2-1, swing and a miss from LaRue. And Glenn Green, the third, continues to live over the outer half of the plate as he got Dylan LaRue to bite at that pitch. Green comes set, deals the 2-2. Swing and a miss from LaRue. And the Dodge City A's come out of the bottom of the fourth unscathed. They get out of that jam. The Larks leave 2 on base and still trail it by 1. 6-5 as we go to the top of the 5th. Welcome you back to Hayes, Kansas. It's the top of the 5th inning. Leading things off for the Dodge City A's, Trace Copper, the right fielder. Still on the hill for the Larks, Justin Piñardo, as he deals the first pitch over the outer half for a strike. Larks still trailing by just a run, 6-5, as we start the top of the 5th. The 0-1, a curveball drops into the zone for strike 2. Piñardo's had really good control over his pitches this evening. You've been able to see his precision on full display. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. That is 3 straight innings that he has secured the first out of the inning right off the rip on that leadoff batter. And Piñardo is really looking confident out on the hill.
Well, Trace Copper was also the first batter that he struck out, so he's got some familiarity on where to work the ball around the zone. And it wasn't just Piñardo. Ty Schmeidler also struck him out in the first inning.
That brings up the bottom of the order for the Dodge City A's. Arturo Blanquince, steps into the batter's box. The first pitch misses outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Piñardo sets, kicks, and deals the 1-0. That one just misses over the outer half, just a little bit below knee high. 2 balls and no strikes to Blanquince. The pitch from Piñardo. That one's driven out to right. Underneath it is Cox. He makes the grab, and there's 2 away. And initially when that one came off the bat, it looked like it had a chance to really go some distance, but everything is just so unpredictable right now in terms of if a ball gets over a certain height, the wind's really going to take it.
Yeah, he had the height, but just from the crack of the bat, it didn't sound like he put enough power on it, and it falls right into Cox's glove.
That brings up the top of the order for the Dodge City A's, and that's 3 straight innings now that Piñardo has gotten the first 2 outs of the inning on the first 2 batters, as that one's popped up into foul territory. There to make the grab is Norman, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Justin Piñardo. The Larks are right back up to the plate here in just a moment, as it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Larks. 6-5 here at Larks Park. We welcome you back to Larks Park. There's a new pitcher on the hill for the Dodge City A's. It's number 16, Jace Gifford, the right-hander, steps onto the hill. Gifford, a right-hander out of Dodge City, Kansas, a hometown kid for the Dodge City A's, a graduate of Dodge City High School, just graduated.
And this summer is going to be a good experience for him with the A's because they play at Cavalier Field, and he's committed to Dodge City Community College. And he's had some pretty decent outings so far. He's split time as both a starter and relief pitcher. Has an 0-1 record, but still some strong appearances in 13 innings.
We'll see what work he can put together for the Dodge City A's here this evening. As the Larks have the 5, 6, and 7 hole batters up to the plate here in this inning. Sean Keenan leads things off for the Larks, the center fielder. A freshman at Murray State Community College and native of Louisville, Texas. As he looks to try and tie this one up as the Larks trail it 6-5 after a very productive bottom of the third inning where they tacked on 4 runs and made this one very interesting, very fast. Chase Gifford deals the first pitch of his outing. That one's chopped to the second baseman, Langley. The throw over to first base is in time. 1 pitch and 1 out. Sean Keenan, the first out of the inning for the Larks. Brand Wilson, the catcher, steps in now. He drags his cleat across the inner line of that right-handed batter's box closest to the plate. Now steps back into the box and awaits the first pitch from Gifford. Gifford turns and deals. That pitch high in the zone. 1 ball and no strikes to the catcher, Wilson. One ball and no strikes. The pitch down and away. 2 balls and no strikes now. The count to the catcher, Brand Wilson. Gifford took care of business there with Sean Keenan. 1 pitch and 1 out as he forced that weak contact over to Langley. And now struggling with the command a little bit here as he starts the count 2-0. The pitch. That one's drilled out to left. Underneath it's Parks. He drops the ball. Rounding first base, Wilson comes into second. Rounds second base, and he'll stay right there. So a runner on second, it's ruled as a hit. And they'll send in a courtesy runner for Brand Wilson, but now the Larks have the tying run and scoring position. And I thought for sure what would have been a routine fly ball out there in left field. It was good contact. I won't discredit that, but it should have been a routine fly ball out there for Parks, and it looks like he may have slipped on the grass out in left field.
Yeah, he slipped and tried to recollect himself, and by the time he did, the ball was already there, so he couldn't make the play. I'm kind of wondering how much rain really fell. We're indoors, so we have no idea, but I wonder if that caused him to slip.
And now the pitch to Tanner Norman is popped up into shallow left field. The courtesy runner will slide back into second, and Tanner Norman will make his way back to the dugout. And 1 pitch and 1 out again for Jace Gifford as he holds the runner at second. That'll bring up the shortstop, Tabor Stokes, wearing number 6 for the Larks. As the courtesy runner, Cade Green, just 180 feet away from tying this game up for the Larks. 2 down, and Tabor Stokes up to the plate. Gifford comes set, takes a look back to second, now deals the first pitch. That one's fouled away down the first base line. Stokes goes down on the count 0-1. Stokes pulls up that front left sleeve. Comes set in the right-handed batter's box and now waits on Gifford. Gifford looks to second. Little start-stop action there from Green over at second base. The pitch down and away into the turf. Green will trot back to second base. The count moves to 1-1 now to Stokes. Stokes taps his bat on home plate once. Gifford comes set. Now deals the 1-1. A slider over the outer half just paints that outer part of the zone for strike 2. Stokes will have to battle back now. Gifford deals. The runner goes. A curveball misses high upstairs. And no contest over at third base. Cade Green will have another stolen base for the Larks as he slides in head first over at third, and now just 90 feet away from tying this game up at 6 apiece.
I don't know if Green can read signals, but he took advantage of that one with how slow it got to the plate.
The 2-2. That one, a slider, trying to drop over the outer half, just fought away by Tabor Stokes. Just got the very end of his bat on that pitch. That was one of those you couldn't just leave, as it looked enticing enough for Stokes to take a hack at it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the shortstop Stokes. The pitch. Missing into the turf outside. Now it's a full count at 3-2 to Tabor Stokes. This is a crucial at bat here for the shortstop Stokes as they look to advance that runner from third and score that duck back home to tie this one up at 6. Gifford comes set. The payoff pitch. That one's popped up into right center field. Backing up underneath it, Copper. He makes the grab, and the Larks will strand one over at third base as they go another scoreless inning in the bottom of the 5th. Dodge City leads it 6-5 as we go into the top of the 6th. Welcome you back to Larks Park here in Hays, Kansas. The A's back up to the plate. It's Cameron Parks, the left fielder, leading things off. The first pitch from Pinardo, down and away for ball 1. The 1-0, an off-speed pitch, dropping over the outer half for strike 1. One ball and 1 strike. The pitch from Pinardo. That one's chopped out into right center field. Back on it is Hutch Russell, excuse me. He makes the grab for out number 1. Amador now steps into the box for the Dodge City A's. He plays center field for them. Wears number 11 in white letters on that, or white numbers rather, on that forest green jersey. The first pitch drops in for a strike. The 0-1. That one's ripped down the first base line, barehanding it there as the first base coach. What a snag there for the first base coach on that first base line. Took a hot shot straight to his bare hand.
I think that was their pitching coach because they don't have anybody in the dugout right now.
No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch from Piñardo. Missing low over the inner half of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A 1-2 count now to Amador. The pitch. Misses down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2. Thought about swinging on that one. Amador left that one upstairs. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. And a payoff pitch impending from Piñardo. The pitch. A curveball up in the zone. It's drilled out to left or to right center. Underneath it, tracking it down and making the grab is Cox.
That was good contact by Amador. We keep talking about Piñardo and his ability to drop the ball into the zone on the curveball, but he was able to read it, got some good contact. Cox just was able to get there in time.
Sometimes those curveballs up in the zone can be dangerous, as hitters really like those the pitches up in the zone, and sometimes if they read it right, those curveballs being an off-speed pitch that they are, they can really drill them. That one generated just weak enough contact that Cox was able to get underneath it. How to bring up Phillips, the designated hitter. He stands in the left-handed batter's box. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup now, the 1-0. That one missing just low over the middle of the plate, just below knee high. 2 balls and no strikes now, the count to Phillips. Piñardo sets. Now deals the 2-0. That one comes off the handle of his bat. I think that's a foul ball, as the home plate umpire holds his hands up in the air.
I think he's just calling time.
He's going to have a chat with his other umpire. I think based on the way that it sounded, with the way that that ball made contact, even if it hit his hands, technically it is considered a foul ball.
And this isn't our first time seeing this in the last few games where the batter will start to follow through on the swing and then it hits the bottom of the bat. And Frank Leo's now coming out. I think they're going to call it a hit by a pitch.
And that is the initial ruling on the field. I don't – obviously we don't have the best view up here, but from the initial looks of it, that to me is a foul ball. It's just even the way that it sounded off the bat, it sounded like it made contact with the bat or even some part of something that was holding the bat, because you could hear the crack of that wood as it came off the air. And now I'm sure head coach Frank Leo is probably not very happy about that call, as he has now even called the other umpire from out in the field. As he looks like he's pretty adamantly speaking to both of the umpires, as he's can't believe it. And he'll say his piece and walk back to the dugout as he looks to stick up for Piñardo up on the hill. The ruling on the field will stand, so it'll be a hit by pitch, and that'll send Phillips down to first base with 2 down. That brings up the third baseman, Max Irwin. Piñardo will look to forget about that last at bat and focus on the batter at hand. The first pitch to him, inside and gets away from Brand Wilson, and that will advance the runner over to second. The A's now with the runner in scoring position with 2 down.
And that very easily could have gone to third in my opinion, but Phillips was kind of jogging, and I think he was also looking back to make sure Wilson didn't pick up the ball, but that one rolled quite a ways.
I don't think he initially even saw the pass ball from first base. I don't really think he had much of an angle on it either, and so I think he just kind of realized it after his first base coach told him to run. 1 ball and no strikes to Irwin. The pitch. That one paints the outer half of the zone for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. I think part of head coach Frank Leo's argument there to the umpire was the fact that he did make a swinging motion, which in that circumstance, if it made any sort of contact with his hands or the bat, would be a textbook definition of a foul ball. The 1-1. That one also paints the outer half. Piñardo with excellent command here in this at bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third baseman, Max Irwin. Piñardo holds that glove just underneath his right armpit. Now comes set on the rubber. The 1-2. That one's chopped over to the shortstop, Russell, or the second baseman, rather. He makes the throw over to first and retires the inning. 4 batters faced for Piñardo, but nobody scores in the top of the 6th inning. The score at a standstill. It's 6-5 in the middle of the 6th. We welcome you back to Larks Park. We're dealing with our camera. We notice it is frozen right at the moment, so we're switching things out, putting our celebration camera now as our main camera. So Hank is currently fiddling with that as we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. A new pitcher on the hill for the Dodge City A's, Blake Coleman. Listed as an outfielder on the Dodge City A's roster, but making an appearance on the hill here this afternoon, or this evening, rather. Up to the plate for the Larks, the bottom of the order, Braden Cox, the right fielder, up to the plate. And the 1-1 way high and inside, almost at the head of Cox, was able to dodge out of the way on that one. As it looks like we've got our camera back up and running. We appreciate Hank for helping us out there with that one. The 2-1 to Cox. That one's belted out to center. Underneath it is Amador. He makes the grab, and once again, Mother Nature had other plans for that moonshot by Braden Cox. He made perfect contact with that ball, but it just hung up in the air. Once it gets to a certain height, that wind really starts to gust.
Well, Braden Cox has been making those outfielders work tonight. He's got the solo home run and now 2 flyouts in a row to the outfield. And he's, like I've said before, he's getting the correct launch angle. He's just not putting enough power, and also it's very hard to hit in the center field at Larks Park. That's 405 feet deep.
This time a ground ball straight to the mitt. of the second baseman Langley. Cooper Holtorf will be thrown out at first, and now 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 quick outs for the new pitcher Blake Coleman, who, as I mentioned, was listed as an outfielder on the roster, but making an appearance on the hill here this evening. Once again, folks, we apologize for the camera freezing on us. So we've got it now up and running and in functional order with our new makeshift camera angle at the moment. At the plate for the Larks, Rainer Bean, the third baseman. 1 ball and no strikes. That one's fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike now the count. Coleman comes set. The righty deals the 1-1. It's a curveball upstairs for ball 2. Being ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike the count to the lefty. A righty-lefty matchup here favoring Bean. The 2-1 upstairs and outside once again. Now 3 balls and 1 strike the count to Rainer Bean. Coleman comes set. Kicks and deals the 3-1. This one just painting the outer half of the plate. Rainer Bean really was hoping he would get the ball 4 call to get sent down to first, but now he'll have to fight off a payoff pitch. Coleman deals. That one's fouled away way over the top of the press box and out into the neighborhood. Count stays at 3-2. Rainer Bean continues to battle here. Bean steps back into the left-handed batter's box. Coleman comes set. Now the payoff pitch. That one misses over the outer half just by a hair. And Rainer Bean will go down to first base, and the Larks once again have the tying run at first. That'll bring up the second baseman, number 15, Hutch Russell, up to the plate. He stands in the left-handed batter's box, ready to face Blake Coleman for the first time tonight. The first pitch to Russell is inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bean still on first base. Coleman takes a look back to first. Russell stands in and awaits the 1-0, the pitch. That one high and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Coleman taking his time to step back onto the rubber. Just that front left foot. Now comes set. The 2-0. That one missing just high. 3 balls and no strikes the count to the second baseman, Russell. Russell, the go-ahead run at the plate for the Larks. Could really use a run here to tie this one up at 6 apiece as they trail by just a run, 6-5. The 3-0. That one's way upstairs, and that's 2 straight walks for Blake Coleman, as he'll send Hutch Russell down to first base, and now the Larks have runners on first and second. The tying and go-ahead run, both on base, with that tying run now in scoring position. Now to be a pinch hitter for the Larks. They send in number 20, Braden Hebner, the Ball State sophomore out of Evansville, Indiana. He'll fill in for the designated hitter, Dylan LaRue. Hebner stands in that right-handed batter's box. First pitch to Hebner. Rockets across the plate for strike 1. Coleman looks back to second base. Now deals the 0-1. Hebner takes a check swing, and it'll be a strike call no matter what. Check swing or not, That one just painted the outer half for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Hebner will have to battle back. Coleman looks back to second. The 0-2. That one low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In an attempt to get Hebner to chase at that pitch. Hebner, a pretty good batter himself. Certainly not an easy out by any means for the pitcher Blake Coleman. The 1-2. That one's fouled away as Hebner will continue to battle. His count stays at 1-2. Coleman takes a big, deep breath before stepping back onto the rubber. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hebner stands in the right-handed batter's box, a very crouched stance. The 1-2 is drilled out to center field. Underneath it is Amador. He makes the grab, and the Larks strand 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. They trail it by 1. 3 scoreless innings from both teams. The Larks trail it 6-5 going in to the top of the 7th.
Welcome back to Larks Park for the top of the 7th inning as the Larks make a change on the mound. And the first pitch goes into play. It is bobbled by Hutch Russell, and the throw down to first base is still in time. He was able to beat the throw and get Jaden Moreno out to start the top of the 7th inning.
Apologies, folks. I'm trying not to give anyone motion sickness back home. We're trying to switch back to our main game camera so we can give you guys a little bit better picture than what you had just a second ago on the celebration.
So the 4-3 play leads to out number 1. That brings up Isaiah Velasco, and the Larks have a new pitcher into the game. In place of Justin Piñardo, it's number 19, Hunter Cogill. And his first pitch goes low and inside to Velasco for ball 1. Velasco's 0 for 2 since walking in the first inning. Cogill's making his 5th appearance as a relief pitcher tonight. And the next pitch drops low for ball 2. Cogill's coming off of his first save as a Lark on June 18th. He pitched against the Game Day Angels. And the Larks escaped that one with a 5-4 victory, and a swing and a miss moves the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to the graduate of Central Michigan, Isaiah Velasco. Trace Copper's on deck. Arturo Blanquense's in the hole. The pitch on the way is too far outside, and the count is now 3-1. A's have not recorded a hit since the third inning. And they've also have not scored since the third inning. They jumped out to a 6-1 lead. The Larks have scored the last 4 runs in this game. Count now stands at 3-2 for the new pitcher, Hunter Cogill. And a swing and a miss on the payoff pitch leads to out number 2. And for Cogill, that is strikeout number 15 on the year.
Excellent pitch selection there from Cogill. Got him to chase that pitch up and outside of the zone. Just slightly elevated fastball. That's a really tricky pitch to lay off of when you're down on the count like that.
Larks have already gotten 1 3-up, 3-down inning tonight back in the 5th. They have a chance to do it again with number 1, Trace Copper. Copper struck out 3 times tonight, awaiting the pitch. It goes to the plate, and it drops in the zone for strike 1.
It's a nice curveball over the outer half, and so if we just kind of slow things down here to start the at-bat, we'll see if he looks to try to speed things up here on the second pitch.
Cogill does go to his fastball that time, targeting the outside part of the plate. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Bren Wilson will put his glove near the outside part of the plate. It goes there, and it gets in the zone for strike number 3. 2 back-to-back strikeouts in a 3-up, 3-down inning for the new pitcher, Hunter Cogill, and the Larks still trail 6-5, but they'll go back to work with their bats when we come back. To the bottom of the 7th we go. It's 6-5 in favor of the A's. And Sean Keenan leads off the inning. The Austin, Texas native Blake Coleman is back on the mound, delivers the first pitch, and that one's going to find the zone for strike 1.
Well, the crowd is certainly thinned out here this evening, as I think a lot of people may have traveled on home with the rain that came through, but now it's fairly clear as of right now.
There were some lightning strikes out west a little bit ago, but it was moving away, so they didn't delay the game. And the count is 0-2 now to Sean Keenan. 1 for 3 on the night for the center fielder. That one hit was the 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning.
I'm waiting to see some Corsair magic here.
Coleman kicks and deals, and a fly ball deep into right field, but running up on it is Copper, and he's going to wait for it and make the catch for out number 1.
It's interesting because off of his bat it sounded really good, but he just was reaching so far on that pitch that it was difficult for him to generate solid contact enough to drive it far enough to at least put the ball in play or send it out of the yard.
Now up for the Larks is number 32, Brand Wilson. He grounded out in his first appearance and has reached base in the last two. Was hit in the third inning and then had a double in the fifth inning. That would be the Larks' only hit in the fifth. And he leaves the first pitch upstairs for ball one. Brand Wilson has also not ran the base path tonight. When he gets on base, coming in for him is number 12, Cade Green, as the courtesy runner, who has shown that he can be dangerous both as a hitter and a runner. And now it's 2-0 to the catcher. The bottom third of the Larks order is up next. It's Tanner Norman, Tabor Stokes, and Braden Cox up next. And Brand Wilson's now ahead 3-0, leaving another pitch upstairs.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does get on base if they try to put in another courtesy runner and get really aggressive on the base paths here, especially with them being down a run.
The catcher puts his glove low. The pitch is on the way, and that one just misses outside for ball number 4.
Yeah, and there's Cade Green coming out of the dugout. Once again, he has really been that guy they've really crutched on tonight here as a courtesy runner, and we'll see if they decide to get a little aggressive here on the base paths to try to avoid a double play and also try to get a guy in scoring position.
Green has at least one successful steal on both appearances. After Brand Wilson was hit in the third inning, he stole second, and after he had a double in the fifth, he stole third. That gives him now 12 stolen bases on the year, which I believe, I'm not going to flip through it, but that's just one behind the leader for the Larks. And he will take off for second base as this one's a low throw by the catcher, and the throw is not in time. It was very close. I think the shortstop was the one that tried to make the tag, Placense, and he tried pleading his case to the field umpire, but he's unsuccessful in doing so, and the Larks have a runner in scoring position.
I think you had a slightly more angled view on it than I did, but from where I was at, it looked like the umpire out in the field called him out, and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
I think he called him safe originally and then was kind of waiting at the very end to see if he might have slid off because Placense still had his glove on.
Yeah, must have been.
2-0 to Tanner Norman. And now Green is going to try to steal third as well. No swing from Norman, and he does it again, pushing off the third baseman, and he didn't even slide.
Well, and I think he was trying to see if he needed a slide or not. He actually kind of ran off the base path there.
So would you say he kind of overthought it a little bit? By the time he was there, he was still running?
Oh, 100%. And I think that he was like, well, do I slide? Do I not slide? And I don't know. In a situation like that, sometimes you'd rather just be safe than sorry and just go ahead and just slide anyways.
So I'd say he was probably just bracing Irwin for impact with how fast he was
going.
Oh,
100%.
We'll just say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Ball 4 for Tanner Norman, puts him on first base and leaves Cade Green over at third.
I think if anything, it was more so out of care. He was trying to make sure he didn't just plow him over. He didn't want to just totally run him off the base. Obviously, you got to give the runner a path to slide in, but it wasn't even that. It was more so he was just trying to make sure he didn't plow somebody over.
Willem Allen goes back to the mound for another meeting. This inning started with a flyout from Sean Keenan. The last two batters have both walked. And the Larks have a chance to tie this one up. Earlier today, they were down 6-1 at the end of the top of the third, and they have been able to fight their way back into this one. Nobody's in the bullpen right now for the A's, so this is just a quick meeting. And Blake Coleman will stay on the mound. So now up is number 6, Tabor Stokes. He's 1 for 3 on the night with an RBI double. It would be big if he could get another one right here. That one where he had the RBI scored Tanner Norman all the way from first base, and that is where he currently stands.
This is definitely a guy you want up to the plate when you need some runs. This is a guy who's very experienced at the plate, very experienced with this Larks team. We'll see if he can come through here for the Hayes Larks.
Stokes showed bunt, pulled it back, and it's called for a ball. One out in the bottom of the seventh. A's ahead 6-5. They've led for the entirety of this contest. Coleman throws back to first base. No slide needed for Tanner Norman. Coleman's just taking his time looking for the out. This is just his second appearance on the mound for the A's. And he finds the strike zone on the next pitch. The count is 1-1 even.
Best case scenario here for the A's is try to get him to hit into a double play ball. That's really what they want to generate here with one out on the board and a runner on first.
Looking at Coleman's first pitching appearance, that was back on June 11th against the Colorado Lumberjacks. Pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 hits and 4 runs, but recorded 3 strikeouts. But also has shown that he has a tendency to give up walks. He gave up 6 in that game. Already has 4 tonight. Tied count 2-1 to Tabor Stokes. And Coleman will kick and deal. And that one's too high for ball 3.
Good play discipline there from Stokes. Sometimes as a hitter, when you're in a position like this, you've got that tying run on third base, a crucial position with a runner in scoring position. You try to extend your zone, and right there, props to Stokes to laying off that pitch, especially knowing he was ahead in the count.
If Stokes walks, the bases will be loaded, and the next batter up will be Braden Cox, who had a home run earlier tonight. And there it is, ball number 4. Bases are loaded, and here comes Braden Cox, the Colorado Mesa Maverick and freshman out of Spring, Texas.
This is a guy who has been making great contact all night long. All night long, he's been making good contact on the baseball. We'll see if he can really give this one a ride. See if he can't pick up his second homer of the night. Although, I'm sure the Larks dugout would be more than happy with a sacrifice fly out to right field to score a run here in this situation.
The Larks already have 1 grand slam this season. It was the last game against Newton from Ty Schmeidler. And this one's going to bounce away from the catcher. Coming home from third is Cade Green, and he will just walk onto home plate. And we have a tie game.
Well, let me just make a prediction here. The Larks, if we have a post-game interview this evening, are going to talk about something to do with grittiness. I just have a feeling, just an inkling.
We've been hearing that a lot lately. So Braden Cox steps back into the batter's box, and we have a tie game at 6-6 off the pass ball, scoring Cade Green, the courtesy runner for Brand Wilson.
I just saw a little bit of lightning out in the clouds out in right field, so I'm sure both of these teams are trying to get this one played all the way through.
Next pitch is ball 2 to Cox. Those clouds are actually moving away from Larks Park, so there's no need to worry about a delay or tonight's game ending in a tie because it's a non-league game. Coleman gets set. The pitch is on the way, and that one misses the zone as well, and it's a 3-0 count.
It makes you wonder in a situation like this, if this game were to happen to go to extras, do they play this one out? That's the real question mark.
.3-0 count to Cox. The bases would be loaded again if he gets on, but he's going to have to wait a second as the next pitch is called strike 1.
On a 3-0 count like that, no sense in swinging at a pitch that you're not comfortable making good contact on. Good decision there to just go ahead and keyhole that pitch for the Larks.
And Cox will make contact with this one. This one's going to drop between the third baseman and shortstop, and the Larks have the lead. Tanner Norman scores from third, and now standing at third is Tabor Stokes.
And you knew it had to come eventually. I mean, the Larks were getting so close. They had guys that were just 90 or 180 feet away from scoring the last 3 innings, really. And now the Larks finally able to break back onto that scoreboard, and in a very fashionable way, and a great contact there, and way to come through there on that at bat.
First pitch goes outside to the leadoff batter, Cooper Holtorf. This is the 5th time that he's up to the plate tonight. 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Coleman looks back over at first base, and the runner's taking off for second. He will step off the mound, and the throw is going to be in time for out number 2. Braden Cox took a gamble on the steal, and he gets caught in the process.
He almost got there in time. He was about, half a step away from maybe getting in there just in the nick of time, but They were able, just at the very last second, Blake Coleman was able to recognize and hear his fellow players tell him, hey, you got a runner going to second.
That one finds the zone for strike one to Holtorf.
That was a good-looking slider there on that pitch, just painting the outer half of the plate.
Holtorf will chop this one foul, and it took a sec, but the home plate umpire will say that it bounced in foul territory before going back into the field of play.
Well, it hit his arm as well, and so on that, they just rule out a dead ball no matter what. If it does hit the batter on a swing like that. Now he's definitely going to have to battle back now with a 1-2 count, though.
And on the 1-2 count, Holtorf takes a swing and misses. It's a drop third strike, so the throw will go down to first base, and it's in time for the final out of the inning. But the Larks get their first lead of the night, scoring both Cade Green and Tanner Norman. And now they just need to hold on to this lead for the last 2 innings. The conclusion of tonight's game is coming up next. The Larks took advantage of 3 walks in the bottom of the 7th inning to get their first lead of the night at 7-6. And Hunter Cogill's back on the mound to face the 9-1-2 batters for the A's. His first batter is number 6, Arturo Blanquense. It's hard to imagine. The Larks were down 6-1 at the end of the 3rd inning, and they've scored every run since then. Now the count stands at 1-1 to the shortstop. Landon Langley on deck. Cameron Parks is in the hole. And Cogill gets set to deliver the next pitch, and he goes on the inside corner, but that's going to be called ball 2, and it ties the count up. Wilson wants this one low. Cogill delivers, and he targets the outside part and gets it there for strike 2. Blanquense started with 2 runs in his first 2 appearances, including a solo home run to lead off the 2nd inning. Since then, he's flown out to right field, and now we'll work with a full count as Cogill just missed on the outside once again.
Tried to slip that slider over the outer half, was looking for that punch-out pitch, even maybe looking for that swing and a miss opportunity there. Now he's really got to dial it in here for this payoff pitch.
The payoff pitch is on the way, and it's a swing and a miss, and it's not going to be a drop third strike. Brand Wilson was able to hold on to it and get the first out.
With authority, Hunter Cogill, last inning really came out and just took care of business. It was a business trip to the hill in that last inning, and now again starting things off strong here in the top of the 8th.
Landon Langley starts the top of the order for the 5th time tonight. And he will hit a ground ball down the first base line, and it rolls foul. Count begins 0-1. Langley's only 2 times getting on base were from walks. He's also had 2 pop-outs on the right side of the infield. Cogill goes to the changeup, and it's too far outside. Count is even at 1-1. Looking back at these last few innings, as the Larks have not given up a hit or run since the 3rd inning. They faced 4 batters in the 4th, went 3 up, 3 down in the 5th, and then faced 4 batters again in the 6th. And in the 7th, that was also 3 up, 3 down. Foul ball straight back, moves the count to 1-2 for Langley. And Hunter Cogill's already gotten 3 strikeouts in a row. He's got a chance to get another one right here. Cogill kicks and deals, and another swing and a miss, and that's 4 strikeouts in a row for the Gateway Gecko.
That pitch high and inside on the batter, was able to just blow that fastball straight past him up in the zone. Great diction from Cogill there on that pitch.
Cameron Parks will now try to keep the inning alive for Dodge City as they look to fight back into this game. The 2 leadoff batters for Dodge City are both from LSU Alexandria. And his first pitch is called strike 1. Parks started 3 for 3 and then had a line out, in his last appearance in the 6th inning. The 0-1 pitch targets the outside part of the plate, and that one's a strike as well.
You can I just heard Cogill grunt on that pitch. You can just hear how much force he's putting behind the ball. Just the velocity on these pitches are just unreal.
The 0-2 targets the outside again, and that's 3 strikeouts in a row in the top of the 8th for Hunter Cogill. 5 strikeouts in 6 batters faced for Cogill. And now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning as the Larks are still ahead 7-6. The Larks will now look to add some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Rainer Bean will lead things off and the 2-3-4 batters step up to the plate. A line drive on the first pitch, and that one bounced off the Larks dugout, and I don't think the players were really ready for that one. That one was a missile.
Well, I wasn't either. I just heard a crack of a bat, and all of a sudden everybody go, oh, my goodness. So Looks like everybody's okay from what I can tell out there. I think everybody's laughing it off in there, but certainly a close call over there down the third base side.
I think one player even had kind of a delayed reaction almost too. And I think that's one thing that they're laughing about down there. But either way, it's a 2-1 count to Rainer Bean.
So our PA announcer, Seth Kincaid, just told me that ball hit that concrete wall in the back of the dugout, and that's what that sound was. That's why it was so loud when it hit something in the dugout back in there.
I thought it hit the wood bar beneath the roof. But yeah, that's not where I thought that one went. 2-2 now to Rainer Bean, and next pitch just misses the zone for ball 3, and I believe that's a new pitcher into the game for Dodge City, and it is. It's number 2, Kennedy Drexler, the sophomore from Southern.
Well, it's starting to spit again here, and the wind is really blowing the rain into the press box. I'm starting to get a little wet up in here.
Ball 4 to Rainer Bean, puts him on first base as the leadoff batter and brings up number 15, Hutch Russell.
Hank, you might have a little bit of a wet post-game interview if you get to come out on the field after this.
I don't care. I like rain. So Hutch Russell works with the runner at first base. Looking at the new pitcher, Kennedy Drexler, coming in relief for Blake Coleman. Like I just said, he's a sophomore at Southern that appeared in 25 games this season with the Jaguars and is listed as an outfielder, but also pitched in 1 game with Southern this season. He now faces an 0-1 count against Hutch Russell. This is Drexler's first year with the A's. Last season he played for the Pulaski River Turtles in the Appalachian League, which is a prospect development league that is a joint league between the MLB and USA Baseball. 0-1 count to Russell. Rainer Bean walked on a full count. He will take off for second base, and the throw is going to be not in time. The tag was made, and we might get an explanation. Or, correction, the Dodge City A's head coach, Jeremiah McCollum, came out of the dugout, and he wanted an explanation, but I don't think he's going to try to argue it.
There have been so many close plays over at second base tonight. It just seems like every single play over there at second is just, fractions.
1-1, and the pitch goes to the plate. This one's a hard hit ground ball going into right field, and that's going to bring the runner from second home. Hutch Russell gets his first RBI on the night, and the Larks extend their lead to 2 and add an insurance run.
And that is the insurance run they needed. They've got a 2-run lead now, nobody out and a runner on first. I would imagine they will more than likely keep Kogel in this contest as he is pitching on all cylinders right now.
It also saves some pitchers for tomorrow night's game in league play, especially looking at Dodge. They've thrown a total of 5 guys tonight. And we're going to get a courtesy runner now. Cade Green will come in for Hutch Russell. So Cade Green's been coming in for Brand Wilson, who bats 6th in the Larks order. And Hutch Russell will head to the dugout. So we're being told it's actually a pinch runner, a deep hit here by Braden Hebner going to the warning track, and the diving play is not made by Parks. He miscalculated it. He had his back up against the wall, ran up a little bit, and now the throw goes to third base. And Cade Green is going to slide in safely. How about that? That will now put Braden Hebner over at third base on the triple, and the Larks now are up 9-6. So much happened in that moment.
I don't know what's in the air tonight, but man, this game has just been chaotic on all accords. Not only have we been experiencing our fair share of technical difficulties tonight with the broadcast, but it just seems like every play has something strange about it. And the Larks will take that one every day of the week as they've now got a runner on third, nobody out, and a 3-run lead.
So I can talk a little bit slower now. The Cade Green was the pinch runner for Hutch Russell. Cade Green's been a courtesy runner all night for Brand Wilson, and he came in and scored on that last play. Braden Hebner the pinch hitter for Dylan LaRue, who came in the 6th inning, now stands at third on that RBI triple, and the count is 0-1 to Sean Keenan.
Yeah, take a breath, Hank, please. Please, I don't want you passing out on me up here.
Next pitch is on the way for Drexler, and he targets the outside part of the plate for ball 1. This is Drexler's first time pitching with the A's. He's made 9 appearances in the batting rotation with a .214 average on the year. And this one's a ground ball going right past Blakense, and the Larks are going to add another one. They lead 10-6 as Braden Hebner scores from third.
And it just seems like everything is going their way right now. They're seeing the ball just perfectly. You saw that ball right there, just perfect contact, drilled it out into left field, rolled it right past the infield, and that'll be down for our RBI single. And this Larks team is they're just turning it on. And this is just so fun to watch right now. This is what you live for.
Now up is Bran Wilson after an 0-for-1 start. He's reached base in his last 3 appearances. And he swings and misses at the first pitch, and it's strike 1.
Big question mark to me is, if the score holds here, even if the score doesn't hold, it doesn't really matter. How does the Dodge City A's bullpen now respond tomorrow? How deep does this bullpen run is going to be the big question mark for tomorrow's contest.
And especially if they lose tonight, that's now a 4-game winless streak that they're trying to break after an 8-3 start that saw them at 2nd place in the RMBL.
They've pitched 5 arms tonight in this contest, and they have to play the Larks again tomorrow at home in a league contest, which arguably holds more standing than a game like this, which is technically a non-league contest.
The 1-1 misses down low. Now it's 2-1. They've had 2 guys that have only gone for 1 inning. That's Glenn Green III and Jace Gifford. So if they wanted to, they could throw him again. Because if you look at Newton, when they came into that game against the Larks, they were off of a win against the Kansas Cannons 10-9. And they had a guy that I believe was Colton Robinson who got the save the night before and then pitched in that game against the Larks. So anything could happen tomorrow night. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start time at Cavalier Field. The Larks will get the day off after that, and then on Wednesday night they come back to Larks Park for a matchup against the BTL Hornets from Shawnee, Kansas, which they weren't even supposed to play that team. It was supposed to be the Topeka Capitals in Topeka on that date, but because that program disbanded for this season, the Larks had to look for a replacement opponent. They couldn't get one to replace their 3-game home series with Topeka. They do, however, replace that 1 road game. On the 2-1, Brand Wilson fouls it out of play. It's now 2-2.
Nobody out here. I'm sure the Larks are looking to just tack on as many runs as they can. Give that closing pitcher just some insurance. Give him some padding to work with going into that top of the 9th without giving him too much stress up there on the hill.
Drexler looking for the strikeout and doesn't get it just yet. This one's too far inside for ball 3. The catcher puts his glove down low. And here's the payoff pitch. This one's going to be chopped foul by Bran Wilson. Wilson already has a double tonight. His other two times getting on base were from being hit on a 3-1 count and walked on 4 balls in the 7th. And then Cade Green eventually scored that first run of the 7th inning for him. But it'll be interesting to see if Brand Wilson gets on base, who they're going to sub in as the courtesy runner, because Cade Green is a pinch runner now for Hutch Russell.
That will be interesting for sure. I would imagine they'll probably put a courtesy runner on, I would think, but we'll see how that pans out.
Here's the 7th pitch of the at-bat for Kennedy Drexler, and that one's too low. Wilson held back just enough, and he now heads down to first base, and Sean Keenan moves to second.
So it looks to me like they're going to put in number 8, Austin Crawford, as that courtesy runner now, as he'll trot over to first base and high-five Brand Wilson on the way over there just behind that mound.
I believe this is the first game we've seen Austin Crawford as a courtesy runner. He's been in the lineup for 8 games this year. And we've seen him get a few steals here and there this year, so the Larks don't have to be aggressive on the base path. They have three runs in this inning, and a deep fly ball out to center field by Tanner Norman is going to send Amador back to the wall, and he makes the catch at the warning track for out number 1.
The only reason that ball stayed in the ballpark is Mother Nature. I mean, that wind is really starting to blow pretty hard out of left field. You can see that flag is just whipping over there. And I think had that wind not been a factor, that ball would have been over the fence. And this game would be a totally different ball game. 13-6 would have been the score, and that just would have totally blown this one open.
Now up is number 6, Tabor Stokes. 1 out and a 10-6 lead for the Larks with runners at the corners. Drexler's pitch is going to be a line drive that lands in the A's bullpen, and there's strike 1. Catcher wants this one low and right down the middle, and this one's chopped foul by Stokes. It's now 0-2. The runner at third base is Sean Keenan. He had an RBI single. At first base is Austin Crawford, the courtesy runner for Brand Wilson, who walked on a full count. Drexler throws back to first base, and the throw's not in time.
Crawford was pretty attentive over there on first. He didn't really let anything fool him there on that pickoff move.
Pop fly going into foul territory on the 0-2 count, and it lands out of play. Oh and 2 the count and 1 out. Larks have scored 9 unanswered runs since the third inning. So they trailed this game at 1.6-1, and this one's going to hit Tabor Stokes on his side.
I think that might have hit him in his thigh or his quad or something. That just did. I mean, you could hear that up here in the press box. That didn't sound like that felt very good at all. Hopefully he's all right over there on first.
So Braden Cox will be the 8th batter up to the plate this inning. Working with the bases loaded and a 4-run lead. Larks have scored 3 runs this inning, trying to add some more. They've already passed the 10-run mark in tonight's game. It's the 8th time they've done that this year in just 12 games. Drexler will throw this one. It goes over the head of Cox, and scoring from third is Sean Keenan on the wild pitch.
No mercy here from the Larks, just keeping their foot on the gas pedal, and that's exactly what they should be doing in a situation like this, especially against a rival like the Dodge City A's.
So runners now stand at second and third, and the count is 1-0 to Braden Cox. He's 2 for 4 on the night with an RBI single and the solo home run from back in the third, and he took a big swing at that one and missed. The count is 1-1.
It was a fastball up in the zone. Those are really hard to lay off of as a hitter because you see that fastball, your eyes get really big because you're ready to just send one for a ride.
The catcher wants this one low. Cox will chop this one over to the third baseman. Fielding it is Irwin. Long throw down to first base, and it's in time for out number 2, but another run does score. It is Austin Crawford, the courtesy runner for Brand Wilson, scoring over from third.
Well, he can't be upset at that trip to the plate. He was able to put that ball exactly where it needed to go to score that runner from third.
Cooper Holtorf is the only batter that hasn't been at the plate this inning. He works with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Leaves the first pitch outside for ball 1. Stokes is taking a short lead over at second. The closest fielder to the bag is number 3, Landon Langley. And now the count 2-0. Drexler looking to retire the side. This one's going to be a chopper over to the second baseman, Langley, and he loses control of it. He actually kicked it over to the first baseman, and the throw is in time. Or I shouldn't say throw, the kick was in time. And that retires the side.
I have never in my life ever seen someone put somebody out at a base because they kicked the ball. I think he must have been watching the World Cup this week because he must have been taking notes from somebody because that was a almost perfect kick. I guess I'm saying. So
if Eli says it's a good kick, you should listen. He is a soccer fan himself, but that brings it into the inning as the Larks put up 5 courtesy runs and lead 12-6. The final inning is up next here on the Larks Network. The Larks have put up 11 unanswered runs after a 5-run 8th inning, and they are 3 outs away from getting a win in non-league play, and they're bringing in a new pitcher to get these final 3 outs. It's the last player that was listed on the roster at the start of the season to arrive. It is number 31, Hank Brown, the sophomore right-hander from Murray State Community College. There's an 0-1 count to Yael Amador, who's leading off this inning, and the next pitch goes outside for ball 1. Taking a look at Hank Brown this last season at Murray State, he pitched a total of 17 games, finished with a 3-1 record, recorded 41 strikeouts, and finished with a .493 ERA. Wilson will put his glove low and centered, and a half-hearted swing. They will say that he went around for strike 2. Brown looking for his first strikeout as a Lark, and he doesn't get it just yet. Amador almost went around there. They look out to the field umpire for an appeal, and he says they didn't go around, so the count is 2-2.
Larks faithful, a little bit unhappy with that call, I think, just based on what I'm hearing from the crowd.
And on the 2-2 count, it's a swing and a miss, and there's the first strikeout for Hank Brown on the very first batter that he faces.
Well, that one was no doubt. He definitely swung at that pitch there. Excellent pitch selection there on that play.
Between Hunter Cogill and Hank Brown, they have struck out 6 batters in a row now. As next up is number 17, Jackson Phillips. And he pops this one out of play. The count is no balls and 1 strike. Reminder, we'll have our post-game interview coming up next. Tonight it's going to be with Braden Cox and Sean Keenan. They had the 2 home runs in the 3rd inning that completely changed the momentum in tonight's game. Count now stands at 1-1 to Phillips, the DH out of Seward County Community College. And Wilson wants this one low again. This one's too far inside. Count is tied at 2-1. Max Irwin is on deck. He's gotten on base twice. Also, Jaden Moreno's in the hole, and he's also gotten on base twice. So if Phillips can get on for the second time in a row, this would be big for the A's. Another one inside for ball 3 from Hank Brown. This time Wilson wants it on the outside. It's a swing and a miss, and there goes the bat. We've seen a couple of those here and there throughout the years at Larks Park, but there's our first of 2026.
That one was launched. There's no doubt about that. I almost wonder if his batting gloves were a little slick and the handle of the bat was a little slick. So it's been spitting kind of on and off here, and I just wonder if that was hard for him to hold on to the bat there on that one.
And I kind of wish our main PA announcer, Ken Winholtz, is here, because when a batter for the opponent lets go of the bat and it goes flying, he plays a sound on the PA system. I'm not going to do it justice, but it's something like, ah. Here comes the payoff pitch for Brown, and this one is fouled out of play.
That's a very, specific sound. You got to have that thing, in the depths of, the sound archive that you've got. He's got to – that's well done by Ken. I got to give him props on that one.
Back to the action. Jackson Phillips just fouled off a full count. And here is pitch number 7 for Hank Brown, and this one bounces and rolls away from the catcher. Phillips will just jog down to first base, so he's not even going to try to go to second, as Brand Wilson just picked it up. Now up is the third baseman, Max Irwin, the freshman from Coffeyville Community College. And there's going to be a quick meeting here between Hank Brown and Brand Wilson. Tanner Norman's coming in as well. The other 3 infielders will just talk to each other over at second base. Before we go to the next batter, we want to thank tonight's game sponsors for the Larks. And let me just say there's quite a bit of them tonight, so I'll run them down real fast. We got Walmart, Worth Plumbing, Worth Eye Group, Worth Family Dental, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Danny Dinkle and Associates, Bank of Hayes, and Worth Wealth Management. We thank you all for supporting the Hayes Larks and giving our fans free admission to tonight's game. With 1 out, Jackson Phillips is at first base, and Max Irwin up to bat. He will hit this one over to the second baseman, and losing control of it is Cade Green, who subbed in for Hutch Russell, so he's the new guy at that position. And from the air, that's going to put Max Irwin over at first base.
Yeah, tough break there for him over at second. He just wasn't able to quite get that one into the glove, and he stayed in front of it, so he read the ball right. He just couldn't quite get his glove far enough down on the turf to get that one to just roll into his mitt.
Jaden Moreno now at the bat. The left-hander leaves the first pitch on the outside for ball number 1. Moreno's reached base twice. Tonight is his first game since June 15th when the A's took on the Kansas Cannons, and he hits a line drive into center field, and this one will take a bounce and then go into the glove of Sean Keenan, the center fielder, and the bases are loaded. A grand slam here would completely shift the momentum for the A's. They're down by 6. If they hit a grand slam, it would become a 2-run game, and they will rely on Isaiah Velasco to get those runners home.
Certainly completely change the landscape of this game. Best case scenario here for the Larks is a double play ball on the ground to second.
Velasco just has 1 RBI this season. And on the first pitch, he will leave it high and outside. Count begins with 1 ball and no strikes. Now Wilson wants this on the inside. Brown delivers, and it finds the zone for strike 1.
That's what he needed. Give himself a little bit of confidence there. Find the zone with a pitch that you know you can have some control over. That was a good pitch placement there from him.
This is the first game for Hank Brown as a Lark. Was the last player to arrive from the preseason roster. Just wrapped up his sophomore year at Murray State Community College, and he's committed to play at the Division I level next season for SIU Edwardsville. It is a tied count at 2-1. Still just one out, and here's the pitch. Too far outside for ball 3.
A good snag there from Wilson behind the dish. That could have let a run in if he wouldn't have caught that ball.
Looking at who's on the base path, Jackson Phillips is at third after walking on a full count. Max Irwin's at second off of an E4. And Jaden Moreno is at first base after a 1-0 single. Pop fly going out of play will lead to a full count for Velasco.
He's got to convert here on this full count. This will be some good momentum for this Larks squad if he can put this guy away.
Velasco, the Central Michigan Chippewa, looking for his first hit of the game. And here's the payoff pitch, and it's fouled straight back, and he stays alive. And we await the payoff pitch again from Hank Brown, and I just got a text from Ken Winholtz, our PA announcer, and he said that when a batter lets go of the bat and it goes flying, the sound that he plays is the Tarzan yell.
You know, that's oddly specific, but I appreciate him clarifying that for us. So we thank you, Ken.
And that walk will bring in a run. Isaiah Velasco is now over at first base. And Keith Harper's going to make his way out to the mound. Nobody's in the bullpen, so they're just going to rely on one more pitcher to get the job done tonight. But scoring from third is Jackson Phillips for his first run of the game.
I think when you're as cozy as you are right now with the run that they've built, with the lead that they've built, you know, they have trust in this guy. They know he's got good stuff. So there's no sense in pulling him out of this contest. You got to have faith in this guy and let him work through that adversity.
So we'll wait for Harper to finish talking to Hank Brown. The next batter up is going to be number 1, Trace Copper. The right fielder, who is 0 for 4 tonight, has Ks all across the board. 2 of those have been looking, 2 of those have been swinging. So Trace Copper will await the pitch. Copper's played in 8 games with the A's. And we'll start with an 0-1 count.
That was a very similar situation there on that at bat as to the one earlier that was called hit by a pitch, where it was almost pretty much up on the handle of the bat, and this time it was much further up than it was the last time, but count as a foul ball.
Counts now 0-2 to Copper. He's looking for his first hit of the year in his 8th game with the team. Has recorded 3 RBIs on the year, so he's been able to get some runs home, but a hit in this moment would be big for the A's. Brown delivers, and it drops into the low part of the zone for strike 3, and there's now 2 away.
That was a big strikeout. They just need one more out to put this one away, and boy, this has been a thriller for this Lark squad.
Arturo Blanquense will now try to keep the game alive. He's got 2 runs tonight, including a solo home run in the 2nd inning. And the Dodge City Conquistador awaits the pitch. It is on the way, and he swings and misses at the first one for strike 1. Wilson wants this one on the outside. Brown delivers, and that one just misses for ball 1.
That one just a little bit too low for that home plate umpire's liking. Nice pitch location, but just barely coming across below the knees.
Brown goes to his curveball that time, and that one Blankense has to duck out of the way of. And the count is tied 2-1.
I think that one may have just slipped out of his hand. He wasn't quite wanting that one to go where that did. I think he was kind of hoping for that curveball to drop in that upper part of the zone.
And a foul ball on the 2-1 count is going to put strike number 2 on the board. And in just a moment, the Larks fans are going to start clapping along to help Brown get that that last strikeout, which would be his 3rd of the inning. And there are the claps. Here's the 2-2. And it's a swing and a miss, and the Larks complete a 6-1 comeback, winning 12-7.
The Larks get it done in 9, and boy, what a contest it was. Final score, Larks 12, Dodge City A's 7. Stay tuned. Hank Corsair will have our on-field post-game interview here in just a moment when we come back.
Larks now 12-0. Moto Group right here in Hayes. Hank, take it away.
Thank you, Seth. I'm here with Braden Cox, who had 2 RBIs tonight, including the solo home run that began the change in momentum tonight. What was working for you tonight?
I was just kind of reading pitches, and then I got my pitch low and away and went with it.
And when you stepped up to the plate and got that solo home run, the score was 6-1. So what was your attitude as you approached that plate appearance?
I got to keep grinding and get some gritty zeros. Pitchers helped us out.
And I'm going to ask Sean this question as well, but you're going to play this team in about 24 hours from now on their home field. So what's going to be the key to winning tomorrow in league play?
Nose on the grindstone, and then just keep going. Take good at-bats.
Congrats on the comeback win. Ladies and gentlemen, Braden Cox. I'm now here with Sean Keenan, who had the 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. What did you notice on that pitch?
I was just looking for a fastball, got it first pitch, so just hit it.
And you were working with a runner on base, so how were you able to stay focused? Because that home run made it a 1-run game.
Just stay with my approach, just know I'm a good hitter.
And same question to you, what's going to be the key to winning tomorrow in league play?
Just coming out doing the same thing we did today, just grinding.
Congrats on the win, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Keenan.
Well, we appreciate Hank for conducting our on-field post-game interview. Hank will be back up here in the booth here in just a moment. We'll have our post-game show and our final thoughts before we sign off. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Larks Network.
When the top of the third inning ended, the score was 6-1 in favor of Dodge City, and by the end of the night, the Larks win it by a final score of 12-7. Welcome to the postgame show, everybody. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And just looking back at this game, Dodge came out red hot. There's no doubt about that. They put together some big runs, including that solo home run by Arturo Blanquense, and they had control of the game early on, but we keep talking about it. The Larks get those runs together, and then next thing you know, they got the lead.
This team will, in a way, they kind of lull you to sleep. And then just when you least expect it, they come through with those big runs when you need them the most. And I think that what's so amazing and fun to watch about this team is they really wear teams out. They really wear them down. And then all of a sudden, it's just this slew of runs that come through, and man, it is just so fun to watch. And I think this whole community, and I know that I can speak for the both of us up here with just saying it's fun to watch these guys play. They look like they're having a great time out there on the field.
And just looking back at some of the most notable performances tonight, the pitching was off to a little bit of a slow start, but they get 10-plus strikeouts for the sixth time this season, most notably from guys like Piñardo, Cogill, and Hank Brown put together a few of his own at the very end in his first game with the team. The pitching is going to be a huge key tomorrow to win at Dodge, because that's never an easy place to win, especially because the Larks travel there 3 times per year.
Well, and with these two squads being, league rivals, it's always a high emotion game, and these teams know it. They know it's going to be a dogfight from the rip. And so obviously Ty Schmeiler didn't have the start that he was hoping for, but he pulled things back together the best he could. And then of course Justin Piñardo and then Hunter Cogill had excellent performances on the hill this evening. I was very impressed with their work on the mound.
And then looking at pitching on the opposite end for Dodge City, they threw a total of 5 guys tonight. And that's going to be a big question mark for tomorrow, because you need to save pitchers for league play. That's when you need to win, when it matters most. And their bullpen is going to be a huge question mark tomorrow, but it'll still be interesting to watch because they still got some talented guys in their bullpen that they did not throw tonight.
Without a doubt. And I think that the key for them is they're going to have to be comfortable with pitching some of the guys they pitched today. We talked about a couple of those guys only pitched an inning or two, and those are guys that are going to have to probably step up tomorrow for this Dodge City A's team, especially as deep as this Larks bullpen runs and as deep as this lineup runs.
Well, it should be a fun matchup tomorrow. It's in league play at Cavalier Field, and it's scheduled for a 7 p.m. start time, as the Larks will go into that game with a 12-0 record, and Dodge will be trying to end a 4-game winless streak, as they currently now sit at 8-6-1. So that's going to wrap up our coverage of tonight's game. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there that tuned in. And I'm Hank Corsair. Alongside me was Eli Blankenship. And have a great rest of your Sunday night.